I need you to understand, overstand, understand. I need you to understand, overstand, and understand. Brother Jose.
Sí, señor, ¿cómo está?
Peace and love, good brother. You got any time to slide by today?
Sí, tengo 5 minutos.
As soon as possible. How soon can you get here?
15 minutos, 20.
601 East 17th Street, Wilmington.
Ok.
We're right around the corner from the Boys and Girls Club.
Sí, comprende.
601 East 17th Street, Wilmington, Delaware.
Comprende, sí. Puede, can I come now? Why are you sniffing? You sniff time? What's going on? Turn the heat down.
Yes, sir. I need you to look at two things, Brother Jose.
Okay.
The first thing is the HVAC unit on our small gym has to be switched out.
Sí.
The company that produced the existing unit can replicate another unit.
¿Qué?
I just need to find a tech who is able to replace the unit when the new one has completed production.
Okay, no problema.
Which will take about 60 days, the company has told me.
Okay.
So I need you to look at it, let me know if you can do it, and what will the cost be for you to remove this old one, put the new one in, and the new one is going to look identical to the old one, but it's a more modern version.
¿Qué? No comprende.
We're going to buy the unit.
Okay.
Okay, so that's number one. I want you to look at that. Number two
is
on the small school, Brother Jose.
Okay.
We have a roof unit that has to be replaced.
¿Qué?
We've already got the new unit produced. It is sitting in storage. But I have not been able to find a tech who can get the permit, block off the street, bring the crane, lift the new unit up on top of the school, tie it all in. So that unit has been sitting. It was delivered on November the 1st.
November?
And it's been sitting there for 3 months, Jose. So,
Tres?
And it's the same unit. All we did was order a replica of what's up there because it was custom made.
Pero no comprende, don't make no sense, my friend. Okay? You go where you want me to come. I can look, you tell me what you want.
I'm not sure because it went straight to storage, and I'll share with you where that is. But it's supposed to be identical. It's supposed to be identical to the one up there. It is at a crane yard, and I have the address. It's not far from the school.
Is a crane yard? you say crane yard, huh? you too funny.
Okay.
Huh? Sí, pero tú tengo the
yes, sir.
Huh? The money? You have the money? I got ¿cuánto? Tell me how much you pay.
No problem. I'm here waiting on you. Keep me posted.
How much?
Okay. Thanks, Jose. All
Hello? All right, Cook Quartet, thank y'all so much for tuning on in. I appreciate y'all's presence. It's been a wonderful couple of months. We got another live stream this evening. Father David's back. Let's go. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. It's 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 coming. Oh, it's coming. FDMG is coming. FDMG is coming. Thought his personality be twerking. It's twerking. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in. As you can see, the children are being educated up there at these trap bandos. By the way, Starr said that the grifter has been talking about that school for a decade. He's been talking about it for 2 decades. He conceptualized it in 2004. I can pull up the video where he gives the history of this. In 2005, he stated that he began the process of building FDMG. That was in 2005. Then in 2010, in January of 2010, Umar stated that the school was going to open September 11, 2013. Then he started raising money for the St. Paul school scam in 2014. And then he finally purchases these abandoned buildings, allegedly, in February of 2019. And here we are 6 years later, and there's still no functional school. So in essence, it's been a 20-year scam. Yeah, it's been 20 years. And that's the thing with all of this. It amazes me because even if we take the last 6 years of this school scam in Wilmington, Delaware, he's at Delaware. He's at other school scams too. St. Paul school scam. There was one in Detroit. I can pull all this up and show you guys. There was one in Chicago. There was one in New York. I mean, just Umar. There was one in Africa. He said he was going to build a school in Africa. It just goes on and on and on. But you would think that after 6 years of acquiring these abandoned buildings, that at least one child would have been educated by now, but not yet. That's amazing. And a lot of people don't know the history. They don't realize how long Umar's been running this particular scam. He has other scams too. As an example, he had a shockumentary scam. He was collecting money for a very long time. It was supposed to premiere in 2014. He was still collecting money in 2022 for it, and there's still no shockumentary to date. He also had a Rules of Romance book that he said that he was writing, was collecting pre-orders all the way up to, it was around the same time, 2022. No, 2022, maybe 2021. That book was never finished and never produced. That's another scam. He takes the money and he just keeps it rolling. Now, with FDMG right now, it's interesting because all this other stuff that's been going on with Umar's daughter coming out and exposing him as a deadbeat. He has at least 3 baby mamas. I would propose that he has more, but on paperwork, I can verify, and I have been able to verify that Umar has 3 baby mamas. That's what the focus has been for, I guess, a number of weeks now. But the truth is that Umar hasn't been up there at those abandoned buildings in over a month. And I want us to think about this because this is a pattern of behavior with Umar. Quick correct that, you know this pattern of behavior. When fall hits, and I'm just talking specifically since February of 2019, when fall hits, it starts to get colder, and that's in Wilmington, Delaware. It gets really cold out there. By the time we get into wintertime, it's really, really cold, snowing. The weather's really, really bad. That's the East Coast weather up there. You guys, if you guys are out there, you guys know what I'm talking about. But Wilmington is bad. It gets really cold out there, lots of snow, that kind of thing. Umar, what he tends to do is he starts to travel like he's doing now. Okay, I know we're getting into spring, but this is like the tail end of it. And the reason why is because he's been homeless since 2019. Okay, he was evicted in 2019. And he's been homeless since that time. So what he has done is he has his yearly itinerary, if you will, is that once it starts to get cold, Umar starts to travel more to get out of Philadelphia, where his mama stay. He hasn't been able to live there in a long time, living inside of her closet, or up at these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware. It gets too cold. What Umar was planning on doing was moving in to that gym. Okay, and it's the smaller gym, and he went through all of this effort to put carpet in there, to get electricity turned on. He even got this wall-mounted air conditioned unit, real small too, just up. And then he does all this stuff inside the gym, paint it, try to make it look nice. But the idea for Umar was, after he had gotten evicted, okay, well, I'll just end up moving in and I'll just live inside of these abandoned buildings. Okay, now some people may say that sounds strange. No, but Umar has a history of that. See, remember, he was evicted in 2019. By the time he gets evicted, he has to come up with a plan. And he was staying in and out of hotel rooms, moving from hotel room to motel room, traveling. They give him a place to stay. They give him some food. They may give him a per diem. He'll get some money that way. He'll crush some cookies. But ultimately, he's been homeless. He hasn't had his own residence since towards the end of 2019. So what I'm getting at is Umar attempted to turn these abandoned buildings, in particular the small gym in Wilmington, Delaware, into his own residence. Okay, I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is how Umar has been living for a very long time. But however, because there was no HVAC, it was too cold for him to stay in there. Like I said, it gets very cold out there. And if you're inside of a building like that, and there's all types of issues in terms of airflow coming through the doors, gaps inside of the doors, even inside of the smaller school, it turns into an ice box. Okay, and even if you have a small little unit in the wall, it's not going to compensate for the this whole gym. I mean, it just turned into an icebox. So Umar, he has an aversion to cold weather and anything that's cold, wind blowing on him. I can pull up examples of this. There's been times where he has a speaking engagement and there's a fan, and they put the fan on him because they think that it's a courtesy. They're going to cool him down while he's giving his lecture because they don't want him to sweat. And he tells the people, where's that air coming from? Where's that cold air coming from? And then they pointed out that it's a fan, and he says, no, turn it away, because he doesn't like the cold. Okay, so he has an aversion of even if it's just a fan. Can you imagine when it gets to 20 degrees, it gets to 10 degrees, and then there's a wind chill factor in Wilmington, Delaware, and there's no HVAC inside of this gym? Well, it turns into an ice box. So that didn't work out, and Umar doesn't have enough wisdom to figure out a way to make something like that happen. But that was what his plan was. It failed. So what does Umar do? Well, anytime winter comes around, that's when he starts to beg for venues. He wants to go and do whatever he can so that he can fly out of that area. And oftentimes what he does is he goes to places that are warmer. He'll go over to Africa. He'll go over to, let's say, Barbados. You know, he'll go somewhere in the Caribbean where it's warmer. He'll go down to Atlanta. That's where he wants to be because it's warmer. And then once it finally starts to warm up in Wilmington, Delaware, then he returns. And when he returns, what does he do? He gives the illusion of progress and he asks for money. In other words, he's getting up there in front of these abandoned buildings. He asks for money, and then he'll do something. Okay, he may do another paint day. He may do another cleanup day. Whatever. He'll have people come up there and act like they're doing something. But you notice for the last month, he hasn't even been up there. And prior to that, he was traveling too because we have been in winter. See, now I'm bringing all this up to say that Umar is not serious about opening up a school. It's been over 6 years. And if he was serious, then every single day he would have been up there making this thing happen. But that's not what he's been doing. He doesn't want it to happen. What he wants is for people to continue to send him money. Once these lectures die down, the speaking engagements, he's going to be right back up there at these abandoned buildings begging for money. Watch. Okay? All right. It's a pattern of behavior with Umar. Okay, Matthew became a new member. Thank you so much. I think you're joining again. Thank you so much. And Gap as well. I appreciate it. And Vince has been a member for 18 months. Says, hey, Cook Chat. Shout out to Vince. Thank you so much. And D that is all says we need a new never option on the poll. Yeah, I know. I should have put that on there. So there is a poll question. Shout out to the Cookie Crush. Thank you all so much for tuning on in. Listen, seriously, we gonna be here for like an hour and a half or less. Okay, I know I'd be saying that, but for real though, because we just got one video to get to, and it shouldn't take that long. I've edited it down so that we're specifically Umar's going to be giving some updates on this FDMG school scam. The poll question is, when will FDMG open? We already have 467 likes. 4% say in 2025, 1% say 2026, 4% say 2027, and 90% say 2055. Okay, listen, it's not going to happen in 2025. There's no way. We're already we're January, February, March. We're going into April. Umar has to get a lot of more work done in the abandoned buildings, and I'm going to assume that he's also talking not just about the small school, but also about the small gym, right? He hasn't shown that small gym in a very long time, but I have pictures that were sent to me by KKC. Shout out to KKC. And in the pictures, what he's done is he's turned that small gym that he was trying to move in there. It's just like his own personal storage space. He got all kind of shit in there, just all stacked on top of each other. And then there's right down the middle is a walkway, but there's all kind of stuff on either side, just like when he flipped his phone and he was living in filth because he's a hoarder. So I want you guys to think about something. Umar is legitimately, he's a hoarder. So when he purchases these abandoned buildings and then he gets evicted later that year, all of his stuff is stored where? Not in his mama's closet. It's stored up there at FDMG. See? So that's what you fought, Umar Johnson, donors for this FDMG. That's what you get out of all of this. It's not that you've contributed to this movement to where young Black boys are being educated, or initially Umar said that young Black girls and Black boys were being educated. Many of you guys don't know about the Anna Douglas, whatever other school that he was talking about back then, which was supposed to be for girls. No Black girls have been educated. No Black boys have been educated. He's turned it into his own personal storage unit, and that's it. Okay, something for people to think about. Okay, there's nothing wrong with supporting people, but you have to support the right people, and Umar's not the one. Okay, all right. Thank you, D. That's all for the super chat. If y'all don't mind, go ahead and get your vote in as we progress through this today. I appreciate everyone's presence. We have had a wonderful, wonderful last 2 months. In fact, like I said yesterday, this month will be, last month was really good. I think last month was our 7th best month on YouTube. And then I thought that this month would have been my 8th, but this is actually going to supersede 7th. So this is going to be about my 6th best month on YouTube. So I want to thank the Quick Course Chat. Thanks to everyone who's been supportive of the channel. Thanks for everyone who subscribed, hit the like button, get in that vote, send the super chats, cash app, PayPal. Thank you guys so very much. I do appreciate it. Okay. All right. Before we get into this video, real quick, what's up, Swagonitos? Says, hey, Lenon, I know you're a huge Laker fan. What's your opinion on the whole LeBron Stephen A beef? Personally, I can't stand Stephen A and his journalism. Stephen A Smith is not a journalist. He's not. He's a shock jock. Stephen A Smith is a drama queen. That's what he is. In my opinion, Stephen A Smith is paid to do what he does, specifically targeting black male athletes. He has a long history of that. That's how he's made his career. That's what he's paid for. You don't see any other sports commentators. If you guys look at baseball and look at the Latinos and the and Latinas too, for that matter, and the white sportscasters, they don't degrade sports athletes like that are white or Latina or Latino inside Major League Baseball. They don't do that. They have a level of respect. Not Stephen A. Smith. See, in fact, if you look at football, the sportscasters, you don't hear it in the commentators and the quote unquote journalists. They don't disparage black male athletes like that. Not like Stephen A. Smith does. See, but what has happened is that Stephen A. Smith, because he's controversial in attacking black male athletes consistently and being very unfair too about it, because he doesn't do it to white athletes. Okay, what has happened is he's been so well rewarded by ESPN that other sports commentators and other sports personalities and other quote unquote journalists, they kind of feed off of what he's doing. So they try to contribute in similar ways, so that in hopes of getting that check, like the type of check he's getting. I think he's getting $20 million a year, something crazy like that. But the question becomes why? See, why would ESPN pay Stephen A. Smith whatever the figure is? I thought it was 20 million, if memory serves me correctly. Why would they pay him that a year? When the vast majority, he's always caught up in drama. Sounds familiar? See? He's always disparaging black male athletes. Sound familiar? See? He's always attacking black male athletes, and it becomes personal. Well, why would that? Why would that? Because clearly it gets views, right? So therefore it becomes an agenda, right? See? But there's something else I want to explain to people. What Stephen A. Smith has done is he's devalued black male athletes, in particular in the NBA. He does it to football too, but mainly he targets black male athletes in the NBA. And what it does, it hurts these black male athletes in the NBA, their ability to maximize on their earning potential. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. This is what he's paid for. See? The owners are getting billions. Okay, players are making great money too, relatively speaking. Now, compared to what we make as everyday people, we're like, wow, I can't believe they're making, this guy's making $30 million, this guy's making $40 million. Yeah, but the owners are making crazy billions. But see, if you have someone like Stephen A. Smith who can degrade the value of black male athletes in the NBA, then ultimately it's gonna minimize, at least to a degree, it's gonna minimize their worth and their value within the market. And so, in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why Stephen A. Smith has been put in the position that he's in today. See, and there's other people too that have engaged in this type of behavior. It's so unfortunate too, because they don't do it to white athletes. Y'all remember Johnny Manziel? I don't mean to go off on this, but y'all remember Johnny Manziel? He was fucking up big time, more than what you see with these black male athletes. This guy, I mean, he was on all kinds of shit because they did a documentary on this guy. Okay. And I'm not just talking alcohol. I'm talking about all kind of other crazy shit. He admitted all this shit. But when all that was going down, he was fucking up big time. See, what did Stephen A. Smith do? He got his ass online and he's like, well, you know, he comes from a well-to-do family. What? And you know, his family loves him. Huh? And you know, his father loves him and his family's going to do everything to get him on track. Well, damn, that sounds interesting. But you let a black male athlete smoke some weed back then, and Stephen A. Smith going off the rails. See? You have a Kyrie Irving, you have an athlete who decides that they don't want to take the vaccine. That's his fucking right. Stephen A. Smith goes at him. Same thing with Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant goes at him, and then LeBron goes at him. See, that's why Stephen A. Smith is not respected by NBA players. Y'all think about this for a moment. He can't get an interview with someone like LeBron. LeBron got to go on this other guy, the white guys, what you call it. It's strategic too. LeBron's smart. See, Stephen A. Smith wouldn't even have a job if it wasn't for these NBA athletes. But he has no respect and no reverence, and he's paid to disparage them consistently, going all the way back to Kwame Brown. There's plenty of other white athletes who were drafted high in the NBA draft who had far worse careers than Kwame Brown. You don't hear Stephen A. Smith going at them like he's done consistently with this black male athlete. So that's my opinion. I can go on and on and on. It ain't got nothing to do with journalism. It's become personal. See? And I like the fact that there are more of these black male athletes in the NBA speaking up and out against this type of bullshit. But see, that's what Stephen A. Smith is paid for. How's ESPN going to talk Black Lives Matters and all this shit? Remember all this? And they put it on the court and all this shit. But then they turn around and they pay Stephen A. Smith to go after and demean, disrespect, and demoralize and devalue black male athletes consistently. Think about it. What's the other young lady too, by the way, that they have on there, and how she reports and all this stuff, and they're bringing up all this shit about black male athletes? Well, they're paid to do this stuff. Malika Andrews, that's what they're paid for. See? And then they wonder why. And I know this was a big debate earlier. Then we're going to get to it. There was a big debate earlier or towards the end of last year and in the beginning of this year was, okay, well, why is viewership down so much? And there were black male athletes in the NBA that were saying, well, part of it, and LeBron commented on this, well, because of all the hate that we get. And look who's hating. Who's hating? With the exception of the white dude that he used to be on, he's the one that made Stephen A. Smith. Okay, real talk. I can't remember his name right now. He's irrelevant now. Ain't nobody watching his shit because he was on Fox. He was on ESPN a long time ago, but they kicked him off both. He's done. He's old dude. Besides him, you don't really see white male sports commentators, journalists going at these black male athletes, in particular in the NBA, like that. You don't see it. Yeah, every once in a while they may say something, but I'm talking about harping. See, it has an effect because what it does is it devalues these black male athletes as human beings because it's personal. It ain't got nothing to do with sports. See, if it had strictly to do with sports, listen, Stephen A. Smith is he's a failed athlete. Skip Bayless is a failed athlete. See? But these are the people that get up there and they have these personal vendettas. But see, it's not as if what they're saying is rational and fair. It's personal. See? And now it all comes to light now that LeBron James speaks out about Stephen A. Smith. But see, this is what Stephen A. Smith does. This is what fuels him. See, he's thinking about this and he can't go to sleep. See? And he can't wait to start running his mouth. That's what he's paid for. See? And then it does impact the value of the league because it devalues the players. The players are they are the ones who make the league. See, one last thing. Look at how much hate LeBron James gets. LeBron James has accomplished more in 1 year playing basketball than Stephen A. Smith has accomplished in his whole fucking life. So why does LeBron James get so much hate? Because the narrative that mass media has spun about LeBron James when he makes a decision, it just fuel ball. It's just a snowball effect. And Stephen A. Smith is one of the primary people who fueled that to now he's up here and he's making it all even more personal than it needs to be. This guy said, if LeBron James would have put his hands on me, something if I would have swung on him, you wouldn't have swung on because your ass would have been knocked out. Cut the cap. Look, I mean, isn't he like 50? What is he, 60 years old? What are you talking about? Now you let some white commentator say something like that. Come on now Black Lives Matters and everyone's in the uproar. But Stephen A. Smith listen, Stephen A. Smith ain't got no street in him. I mean, that was the most ridiculous. This guy is fantasizing, creating this scenario where LeBron James roll up on him and puts hands on him, and then he gonna swing on LeBron James. Cut it out. Your ass would have been knocked out point blank, period, within 1.2 seconds. But see, this is where his mind goes, because people have been clowning him, because when LeBron James rolled up on him, he backed down like the bitch that he is. And that's real talk. See, he can run his mouth all day, but in the real world, you let somebody run up on Stephen A. Smith, one of these athletes, huge, muscular, and he will bitch out every single time. So people were clowning him about it. So what does he do? He has to come up and fantasize about these scenarios, but that's what he does. That's what he's paid for. See? So that's my thought. He's not a journalist. He's a shock jock. That's what he is. Always yelling, always screaming. He's turned into a minstrel show. I can't even watch ESPN anymore. I've been watching ESPN. I don't mean to go off, but I've been watching ESPN since I want to say 1987, maybe. Something like that. Nowadays, you know, on YouTube, if I see something with Stephen A. Smith popping up, I don't even watch it. He's always in some mess. He like Umar. See, what he needs to do is figure out what he needs to get done so that he stop all this sniffing. That's what he needs to do. That's my thoughts on it. I can't even watch ESPN no more. See? He's a clown show. But that's what he's paid for, to create mess and controversy. And no one respects him. None of these black athletes respect Stephen A. Smith. None of them. I shouldn't say none, but none of the vast majority, overwhelmingly, the NBA players, they don't respect him. Look at all the hate that LeBron James has gotten unnecessarily. See, real quick, you guys remember when LeBron James did the decision? What network was that on? Now, let me tell you something. If Stephen A. Smith had gotten that interview for the announcement, his ass wouldn't be doing what he's been doing over the last, 15 fucking years. He wouldn't have been going at LeBron James over and over again. And listen, let me be clear. In my opinion, Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time, but that's irrelevant. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Look, I got LeBron at number 2. Right? But if Stephen A. Smith was in the position to get that with all the production and everyone tuning in, I remember to this day, everyone tuning in. He would have felt as if, okay, you know, that's my guy now. That's my guy. But because he didn't get it with his jealous ass, he goes on a campaign for, and then he attacks all these other black male athletes over the last 20 years, at least. That's what he's paid for. And it's pathetic. It really is. Gonna go at the LeBron about his about him being a father. Stephen A. Smith, where's your fucking wife? Matter of fact, it wasn't too long ago where he was talking shit about Serena Williams. Well, if she was my wife, what the fuck you mean if she's your wife? Where's your wife? You almost 60. What are you, 60? He's a clown show. That's what I think. I'm going to tell y'all one last thing. All the hate that LeBron gets, he's carried this fucking league. Prior to him, it was Kobe Bryant. Kobe didn't get that type of hate. Prior to Kobe, it was Shaq for a while. And prior to Shaq, it was Michael Jordan. And none of these people got this level of hate. See? Not this level. Prior to that, it was Magic and Bird. They didn't get this type of hate. It could be argued prior to that, it was Dr. J. Okay. But my point is, here we are now in 2025, and we have a black male athlete, NBA player named LeBron James, who is over 40 years old, who's putting up crazy numbers. It's never been done before. No one has been as great for this long in NBA history. It could be argued that no one has been this great this long in sports fucking history. And yet he gets all of this hate. Why? Well, it's because it's media driven, spearheaded by clowns like Stephen A. Smith and what's Skip Bayless and these other clowns. See, they're shock jocks. But see, if they didn't behave and operate like this, then they wouldn't have gotten paid all the money that because all eyes are always on them. And see, what happens is other sports commentators and journalists, they follow suit because they see they're getting all the views. They're getting these major contracts. I want to get views. I want to have relevancy. I want to get paid. So they follow suit to different degrees. See? I'm going to tell you one last thing. Stephen A. Smith will be humbled. Just like Umar Johnson has been humbled to a degree. See, Stephen A. Smith, he's going to be humbled. He's hurt a lot of people, and he's devalued a lot of black male athletes that didn't deserve that type of treatment and has impacted their value. They've impacted their bottom line. He's not the only one. Okay. Impacted the levels of respect that they should be afforded, but the rest of the viewership, at least a percentage of the viewership, they start to fall in line with this rhetoric of people like Stephen A. Smith, and they start hating on LeBron for no good reason either. Now, what happens when LeBron leaves? When he retires, then what? See, I'm gonna tell you all one last. I know I keep saying it. Listen, I've been watching basketball for a very long time. Okay, going back to Magic and Kareem. And the thing is, as I've seen people come and I've seen these greats come and go, I've always had a level of appreciation and respect because you don't see it that often. And who's next in line? It's undetermined. See? So what people need to do, and what I would suggest people do, is stop listening to clowns like Stephen A. Smith who are paid to attack black male athletes. And rarely does he talk numbers. Rarely does he talk schemes. Rarely does he talk about the game. It's personal shit. See, I would suggest stop watching this clown and start valuing the greatness of these NBA players while they're still playing. Because once they retire, that's it. I miss the days of Jordan, of Magic and Bird, of Kobe, Shaq. People need to be appreciative. But see, it's difficult to appreciate these players and appreciate the brilliance that is basketball when you have clowns like Stephen A. Smith devaluing. That's what he's done. That's what he does, and that's what he's paid to do. And yeah, when he got rolled up on by LeBron James, what did he do? He cowered like a bitch. You can see it in his body language. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Phoenix says he sweeps, paints, sits on that big red, black, and green rock and talks about the Sojourner Truth tricycle race. He's talking about Umar. I don't mean to go off already to start, but I've been thinking about this for a long time. Well, he's a weirdo, straight up. Umar, he will sweep from time to time. He'll paint, and he hasn't sat on that big the red, black, and green rock in a long time. He hasn't sat on it in a very long time. See, he always talking about some dead people. Let me stop. Thank you, Phoenix74, for the super chat. I appreciate it. the Sojourner 2 tricycle race. Yeah, he gonna be in it, Tiff the Griff, and all them. All right, thank you for the super chat. Iceman Van says Lenon got Stephen A. in his book of. No, I don't have no book of Negroes. I don't. You know, he's caused so much harm and so much damage, see, for such a long time too. But that's what he's paid for. It's so unfortunate too. See, he can run his mouth. But he's a chatty patty. See. Even when you're listening to him talk, you know, he sound he sound like an old auntie. I can tell he wasn't raised by no men. I can tell he wasn't raised by no men. See? He's a clown. He really is. Thanks, Iceman Vamp, for the super chat. User 225 says Umar, Stephen A. Smith, and Uncle Ruckus in the room. What happens? Well, Stephen A. Smith and Umar, they'll keep running their mouth. They'll try to overtalk each other. That's what between them two. See, That's the things that the two things they have in common. Well, three things they have in common. Number one, they're always talking shit about black people. Number two, they always sniffing. Y'all pay attention. Okay. And number three, they like to run their mouth. The three things they have in common. All right. Thanks, user 225. Beast Nation says Steve A is the academics of sports. See, listen, I remember ESPN back in the day. I mean, it was well respected. You know, you had, I mean, back then it was totally different. It wasn't, again, we're in the age of social media and clickbait and having all these crazy takes. I can't watch ESPN because the whole take thing, they're just yelling and screaming at each other. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. You all grown people. Some of these people are like 60, 70 fucking years old and they're yelling at each other for a debate. Don't nobody want to look at that shit, especially young people don't want to look at that. And then Stephen A. Smith is always bragging, we have the best morning sports show for 16 years and counting. So fucking what? It's a shit show. I'd rather watch Wiles and I can't remember Chris Broussard and the other guy. I'd rather watch them. I was watching them today. See, if they was in, if I had to choose between First Take and that, I'm choosing that every single time. See, because the other show with these old ass people, Shannon Sharp brings some kind of, but I stopped watching it. They just yelling at each other and just going to carry and all the antics and shit. Nobody want to see all of that. That's not how ESPN was back then. See, like people like Stuart Scott. Yeah. That's when they respected the players. They respected Jordan back then. And I mean, again, you can criticize X's and O's, but when you make it personal and shit, again, Stephen A. Smith, Anyway, thanks, Beast Nation. I appreciate the super chat. Okay, let's get into the show. I had to do my 30-minute rant. I was thinking about it today. I said I was going to do a separate show to go in, but obviously I had to do it now. All right. Thank y'all again for tuning on in. We got about 1,000 people in the building. If you're enjoying the show already, go on and hit that like button. There is a poll question. Go on and put that poll question. I've always wanted to do a sports commentary show. I could do it too. It'd just be specifically basketball too. It'd be specifically basketball. Umar Johnson still talk about crushing cookies, or could crush that room? No, he's been less inclined to talk about it. Okay, especially because of all this information that's come forward through his daughter as him being a deadbeat, and then now people are learning that he has baby mamas. He has 3. He only claims 2. See, he has 3 baby mamas. So now that this information is coming out, he's backtracking, and what he's attempting to do is try to act like he's come to this epiphany, and all of a sudden he realizes that he was wrong living like this, and he's not going to do it anymore. See, but listen, user 225, Umar is a creature of habit. He's going to inevitably return back to that type of talk. Watch. Just like he's going to go back up to these abandoned buildings and start telling people that I need you to send me some money and we're working on this and we're working on that. I guarantee it. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was classy back then. It's not just him. There was other people too. Stuart Scott, though, that was my guy. There was other people too. It was real classy, you know. But now it's turned into a shit show. You know, what it reminds me of is like, remember them shows like Jerry Springer? Well, that's what ESPN has turned into, especially at least for the basketball side of this. They still have a level of decorum for the football, and they have a level of decorum for the baseball. But the NBA, their coverage is straight trash, and a lot of it has to do with Stephen A. Smith. See, one last thing. Stephen A. Smith did another, because he keeps talking about it, because he has to have people talk. He has to talk about it because he can't let shit go. See, but he, in addition to coming up with this scenario where LeBron if he put his hand on me, I'm gonna have to swing on him. You ain't gonna do shit. What you talking about? He was cower like a straight bitch. Big, he didn't even say nothing. What you talking about? You gonna swing? He was like, you can see his body language. He was shook. And LeBron James is huge, and he wasn't playing because he'd been running that mouth. He was not playing. And I've never seen LeBron do that in my life. Right? But Stephen A. Smith, he's contributed mightily to the levels of irrelevancy that people give to ESPN. I'm talking about where in the past, people saw ESPN as a legitimate source of sports information, in particular with the NBA. Not these days. See? Because back in the day, it was so very much different. You didn't have these debate shows and people yelling and screaming at each other. Okay, that shit's played out. That's why the new media is not based on that. See, now people are doing podcasts. More people are going to be tuning in over time, especially younger people. They're going to be tuning in. You think these younger people are going to be, who are like 10 now, when they're 15, 20, they're going to be tuning in to Stephen A. Smith? For what? And these old ass people yelling and screaming at each other? Ain't nobody want to watch that shit. No, they're going to be watching the podcast because that's what these younger people do. And see, now the podcasts are dominated by what? Actual NBA players who are retired. And in some cases, they're still playing. LeBron, he just relaunched his. See, where does Stephen A. Smith fit in all this? Nowhere. Okay. Listen, ESPN, that was my channel. I remember I used to watch that all the time. I don't watch it anymore. You know, especially for NBA information. I don't do it because Stephen A. Smith, he screwed it up so bad. But he gets the numbers. Okay, he's controversial. He's a shock jock. And as a consequence, they pay him very well because they know that he's going to do numbers, but it's not respected. It's not. It's a shit show. That's what it is. See, back in the day, that's not what we saw with people like Stuart Scott and others too. We didn't see that. Okay. Yeah, it was. I used to love me some ESPN. Yeah. Okay. All right. Did I get to all the super chats? Let's see. Play the clip of Umar Johnson explaining which one. He talks a lot about cookie crushing. You got to tell me which one. I don't. There's been so many that he's talking. He be talking about cookie crushing all the time. Okay, let's get into the show. You got to let me know which one you talk about using 225 because there's so many of them. Let's get into the show. I'm going to pull up this. It was an interview, and Umar Johnson was being interviewed by Father David. And in total, let me just see how long this is. Okay, it's only about 23 minutes. So we'll probably be here for like maybe 45 minutes, and then we'll be done. Okay, I was hoping to get this done in an hour and a half. We still may have a chance to do it. Also, I want to thank everyone who's been going into the archive, stuff that's been archived here on YouTube. I have a whole larger archive for members too, but the archive here on YouTube, but that's the thing I've noticed is that I'm getting a lot of views from older videos right now. So somehow the algorithm is probably kicking in and people are seeing stuff pop up and they're going back to these older videos and then that funnels into the newer stuff too. So I want to thank everyone for tuning on in and checking out these videos. I appreciate it. Swirl Girl, thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go.
People know that America has actually taken and has publicly declared war on black people. In case y'all didn't know, in case y'all still asleep and don't know, that's why I play Fight the Power by Public Enemy, because we are in a fight. A lot of y'all don't even know we're in a fight, but we're going to talk about that fight with Dr. Umar Johnson. Turned down my phone. Okay, my phone ain't even on. Let me see. Yeah, yes it was. I apologize.
Turned down my phone. Yeah. Somebody said LeBron posted a video of Stephen A. Smith's boxing, very petty. That's why that's in response to Stephen A. Smith's ass. So let's be clear about the timeline. Stephen A. Smith is the one that comes up with the scenario that if LeBron had put his hands on him, that he was going to swing on him. So what did LeBron do? He posted he posted Stephen A. Smith boxing. See, real quick, if Stephen A. Smith kept his fucking mouth shut, no problem. But see, he's paid to keep running his mouth. And he's so sensitive. That's the other thing I noticed about Stephen A. Smith. What he says about other players, he's really projecting. See, he's so sensitive. If one of these players says something, he's on his podcast. He's on ESPN talking, running his mouth. All you got to do is shut the fuck up. But he don't. See, again, when he came up with that scenario, I said, here he go. And that's why LeBron James posted that. See? And then what's going to happen? Stephen A. Smith, he's going to keep running his mouth because he always has to have some shit going on. And he always has to have attention on him. See? I'm going to tell you one last thing. That if Stephen A. Smith was a successful NBA basketball player, he wouldn't be so invested in getting this type of attention. Because he would have already been accomplished in a field that he wanted to be successful in. But he failed in it. See? And that's real talk. A lot of this shit's personal. See? It's just personal. But because he gets the views, he's controversial. People tune in to watch this bullshit. They pay him very, very well, and he's going to keep doing it. And then it's created a culture wherein other podcasters, other commentators or journalists or what have you, they be taking shots at black male athletes, but they don't do that shit to the white athletes. Not like that. What's the one white NBA player that was messing with an underage girl? Huh? He used to play for the he used to play for Oklahoma City, but they traded him to the Bulls. Giddy. This shit is all online, on social media, Instagram, pictures and all that shit. Did we see ESPN going in on him? Did we see Stephen A. Smith going on him? Did we see Malika Andrews going in on him? No. Why not? Well, for the same fucking reason they didn't go in on Johnny Manziel's ass. So no, let's be clear about this. It's not that LeBron's created this. That's not the case. There's a long history of this type of behavior going all the way back to Kwame Brown. See? But when these white athletes, and this is shit's all on the internet, everybody knows what's going on. He gets a pass. And he's still in the fucking league. They didn't suspend him for a year or nothing. He didn't, no charges or nothing. How is that possible? See? I know one damn thing. If he was a black basketball player, Stephen A. Smith would have been all on that. And Malika Andrews and others too. They would have been all on that story. But because he's white, he's given special dispensation. Just like Johnny Manziel was given special dispensation. I'm trying to tell y'all, that's the thing. You don't see this in this type of behavior in Major League Baseball with these sports commentators and journalists and so forth, and you don't see it so much in the NFL either. As a matter of fact, the Adam Silver made a statement today. Y'all go check it out. We all got me. I'm ready to do a sports show called the anti-Stephen A. Smith show. No, I'm just playing. Lewis Next said, this is why you can't fully blame Umar's followers for the way they are. You have those poverty pins constantly reinforcing disempowerment. Yeah, you're absolutely right about this. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, Lewis Luck. Okay. When you have people pushing these types of narratives, whether it's black disempowerment or let's hate on all these black male athletes, and let's, personal attacks, blah, blah, blah. If you have enough people who have a platform doing this, then yeah, there are going to be people who are going to fall in line with that, and they'll repeat verbatim. That's why a lot of people who hate on LeBron, they don't have a legitimate reason to hate on LeBron. They don't have one. It's just they've heard the shit over and over and over again, so they just fall in line. No critical thought. Someone was saying today, see, if they said I don't like this about LeBron and then explain why, that would be different. But they don't have an explanation. They're just repeating like parrot. They're verbatim what someone like Stephen A. Smith has said. Well, the same thing applies to Umar Johnson. They always say the same shit. They got 10 main excuses as to, you're trying to tear a black man down. He ain't raised enough money, it's sabotage. It's the same thing over and over again. But that's because the rhetoric has been there for such a long time. But the same thing applies to the sports commentary, especially with the NBA. They've been doing this since Kwame Brown. That's a long time. I don't even know how long ago that was, but that's a long time ago. Thanks, Lewis. Umar is a scammer. Yeah, you're right about that, Lord loves me. He sure is. Okay, that definitely has been determined. Okay, we're going to get into an interview that he did now with Father David, and he does give a couple of statements about FDMG. I haven't listened to it, but while I was editing through, someone had sent it to me, said that Umar was coming up with some crazy. We're going to see, okay? But yeah, he's a scammer. He's been scamming on this school scam. Again, he conceptualized it in 2004 and started the process of building it in 2005. And here we are now in 2025 with no school in sight. In fact, he's not even around. He's not up there. It's been over a month. He's traveling. Okay. But when that travel ends and when the money's not coming in from that, he's going to be back up there looking bummy and he's going to be begging for money. Watch. I guarantee it. This is his pattern, especially when it starts warming up. And then what he's going to do is going to say, yeah, we're going to have another paint day, or we're going to have a floor day, or we're going to have another cleanup day, or whatever the case may be. And then this gives the illusion of progress. But this has been going on for such a long time. It's been over 20 years. And since he's acquired his abandonment, it's been over 6 years. See? And yet there's still people who still buy into it. Okay. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. And then user 225 says Stephen A. Smith may be trying to go news politics. Do you believe it? Yeah, that's his ultimate agenda is. See, part of his agenda. Listen, it's really deep. Part of his agenda is to continue to disparage black people in general, but in particular, black male athletes. Because what he's attempting to do is to get inroads into platforms such as Fox. Pay attention. He wants to become more political, but not because he wants to speak positively about black people, because that's not his MO. He wants to become political so that he can talk shit about black people. And that's precisely what he's been doing when he talks about black male athletes. This is all strategic, even him setting up his podcast. See, that's a step away from ESPN because they try not to be political. And listen, I'm not into politics, left, right, middle, and none of that shit. Okay, be real about it. But it is perceived that ESPN is left, and that you look at something like Fox and they're right wing. Okay, that's the perception. See, Umar, Stephen A. Smith, even though he's on a network, ESPN is supposed to be left, he's actually closer to the right. And so what? I really don't give a shit. Okay, at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do for yourself, and don't expect left or right to try to solve your problems. Real talk. See, so because he can't speak out the way that he wants to on ESPN, although they give him the opportunity to talk shit about, specifically about black male athletes, okay, what has he done? He's making inroads into the right, what they call the right wing. And that's really where his podcast is headed. See, that's why he's doing different things. He's on Fox News and he's doing different things with these quote unquote right wing conservative types, that type of shit. And then listen, I don't give a shit. Don't make me no difference. But that's where this is all going for him. Okay? But he's already set the platform by disparaging black people over and over and over again, specifically NBA black players. Okay? But watch, pay attention. Y'all see. Y'all gonna see. All right. Thank you, user 225. Chris sent the super sticker. Thank you so much. Barry says, next time you show Umar buck dancing for the cops, you should show the right before when he was trash talking about this. I'll pull it up right now because yesterday I was looking, and how's it going, Barry? I was looking up something and I saw the video pop up. What is this? Oh, that's not coming up. I can't remember what I archived this at. Let me see. Oh, I think it's I thought it was it harassment? No. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Okay. let me go ahead and start playing this, Barry, and then I'll see if I can find. I can't remember what I archived it as. And thanks, Barry, for the super chat. But I have it. I played it many times. Okay, I apologize for going off on this rant, but this is it's a major topic right now with Stephen A. Smith, and he's gonna keep going. He's gonna keep going and going and going. Meanwhile, LeBron, again, like I said, LeBron James has achieved more in 1 year of his life than Stephen A. Smith has in his whole life. I'm talking about stuff of value and consequence. See, Stephen A. 50 years from now, Stephen A. Smith is not going to be remembered. Let's be real about that. LeBron James will be, though. All right, thanks, Barry. Okay, let's get back to this video. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to find that other video that Barry was talking about. Okay, real quick. And then Lewis says, remember the vid where Umar was doing an evaluation at a woman's home with his shoes off? That was diabolical. Yeah, we played it last week. We played it. Yeah. And you guys remember that it was over 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 47 minutes, something crazy like that. And I remember that when we first watched it, we realized that there was no tripod. Someone was holding the phone the whole time, standing up. And who was holding the phone standing up? The little girl, the same little girl that the mama was talking about, her daughter, and then Umar was giving this so-called evaluation or whatever he want to call that. She's holding the phone the whole time. That's one of the most cringe videos I've ever seen of Umar. It's diabolical. And then he's sitting on the couch with his shoes off. He got socks on. Crazy. Thanks, Lewis. Yeah, we played that last week. Stephen A. Smith disrespect of Kwame Brown began in 2008. Yeah, that's a long time. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. What, 22 years? Wait a minute. Well, no, I'm sorry. 2000. Let's say 2010. That's 15, 16, 17 years. So close to 20 years now. Yeah, he's built his career off of that. See? I remember ESPN fired him too. They did. They fired him. See? Yeah, he's a destructive force and has been for a very long time. See? But he's going to be humbled. Mark my words. Steve Markey says this sister in South Africa opened free schools saving young kids from child marriages. She unfortunately lost her life over it. Umar wants only the money. Yeah, and bless her heart. Rest in peace. There's plenty of people who have done way more than what Umar has done to help Black people, in particular to help Black children with far less resources. There's plenty of people. I mean, I've donated to different people who they have the school, or they have some sort of a project where, you know, they're helping children. I've sent money. I ain't sent Umar no money. See? At the end of the day, what Umar wants is money. He doesn't even like being around kids. He don't like being around children. I can tell. See? He don't even like being around his own kids. See? He doesn't have the temperament to be around children. He shouldn't be around children in the first place, period. Especially with all the sexual deviant talk he'd be doing. See? So, yeah, Umar, what he wants is money. That's what this is all about. That's what it's always been about. There was a time, though, however, in around early 2014, where I could tell that Umar, he wanted some sort of a not even an organization, but some sort of, it's really a cult, some sort of a cult. And that he would be in control of other people's children, but then it also gained him access to the children's mother. It's more like a sex cult type of thing. This is when he has he comes up with this, he conceptualizes this, I can't remember how many acres, 300 acres, something like that. It's a compound in the shape of Africa. See? And it has a hospital and 2 schools and a farm and a landing strip for airplanes, and I would assume helicopters, and a NASA building, and it just goes a baseball stadium and a track and field facility, all kind of crazy shit. But see, I think at that time, what he was conceptualizing in his mind was more like a cult dynamic wherein, yeah, there's going to be, these things are going to be there, but it's more about controlling people. Okay, but here we are now in 2025. I don't think in his mind he actually thinks, okay, I'm going to actually open up anything. It's just, let me just try to keep getting money out of people and milk this as long as I can. That's what he's been doing. See? There's no way that anyone can tell me that after 6 years, it makes sense for Umar to have collected at this point over $2.7 million. And yet he hasn't done anything of consequence with that money or with these abandoned properties to help Black people. Let's just settle on that for a moment. Think about this, Stevie. He has these abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware, right? He's raised over $2 million. He's 2.6, 2.7. Has Umar done a turkey drive in Wilmington, Delaware for people during Thanksgiving? Every single year he's talking about the schools don't open. And yet there's children in that neighborhood who are going to schools for free. He wants to charge them $500 per child per month. Okay, well, if these, at the bare minimum, if you don't have your so-called school trap bando open, Umar, why haven't you done a book bag drive for these kids? Or a clothing drive so they can have some extra clothes once they start going to school, or when the winter hit, they can have some jackets. Huh? What about for Christmas? Have you seen Umar do anything for their community out there? Again, we're talking 6 years into this since he acquired these abandoned buildings. He's raised $2.6, $2.7 million. We haven't seen it. That's because he doesn't care. He just wants the money. See, the money that Black people have sent Umar does not go towards Black people. It goes to Umar. It doesn't go towards Black children. It goes towards Umar. He's a con man. See? And like you're saying, there's plenty of other people who've actually done things with far less resources, and they've been successful at helping Black children, not Umar. But that's because he just wants the money. And if he can get some of them draws too on the side, he'll get them draws too with the bumpity bump. All right. Thanks, Steve, for the super chat. Okay, we got to get going here because I was trying to have a short show, but yeah, hey, you know how we do. Okay, user 225 says, I thought Umar Johnson and Father David fell out last time. Yeah, they did. I thought I was wrong. I'll admit when I was wrong. I was wrong. See, I thought that was it. I thought that Umar would never go back on there, but he went back on there. They've had at least 3 more times, or maybe 4 times. I just haven't covered them. But we're going to cover this one right here. All right. Thank y'all so much again for tuning on in. I appreciate it. And I apologize for going off on the Stephen A. Smith thing. It's just, I'm a sports fan, in particular NBA. I don't watch, I haven't even watched a full game this year. I've watched a part of a couple of Laker games. I know that sounds bad. It's just I don't have time. But growing up, I was into NFL. I was into baseball. I'm deep into stats. You know, my grandmama, she used to write out the box scores for Padre games. And I always found it to be fascinating when I was a little kid. So I developed an appreciation for stats. these days, even I don't have time to watch games. I'll watch highlights. You know, I'll watch different commentary. I just can't watch Stephen A. Smith anymore because he's turned into a clown show, and he always has to make shit about him. See, I'm starting to think he has narcissistic personality traits. To be honest with y'all, everything has to be about his ass. See, and see, like I said, 50 years from now, ain't nobody gonna remember Stephen A. Smith. Ain't nobody gonna give a shit, but they gonna remember LeBron James. See, part of it is, you know, the ego. And again, that's part of narcissism. Thinking that you're better than you are, thinking that you're more relevant, like Umar, you're more relevant than you are. See, if Stephen A. Smith got offline tomorrow and we never heard from him again, it wouldn't make me no damn difference. See, but I know when LeBron James, when he retires, we gonna feel that. See? Just like when Kobe, when he retired, we gonna feel when Kobe perished, rest in peace, we felt that. See, I remember when Michael Jordan retired the first time, I felt that. Then he came back, won some more championships. Then he retired again, felt that. Then he came back, and then he retired again and felt that. Still feel that to this day. See, I remember when Magic Johnson made the announcement that he had AIDS, I cried. See, so I have respect for because it's an art form, and these people put time in, they give their whole life to it, and then we have people like Stephen A. Smith just tearing people down. See, and he hasn't accomplished one day of success in the NBA, not one. See, he has more championships. He don't have any more championships than I have or you have. He hasn't played any more basketball in the NBA than I have or you have. But he runs his mouth. Just like Umar. No, I'm sorry. Okay, let's get back to it. Thank you so much, a real man, for tuning on in. I appreciate y'all. Shout out to everyone in the Cookie Crush chat. All right, let's get to the video. Here we go.
Let people know that America has actually taken off the hood and has publicly declared war on black people. In case y'all didn't know, in case y'all still sleep and don't know, you know, that's why I play Fight the Power by Public Enemy, because we are in a fight. A lot of y'all don't even know we're in a fight, but we're going to talk about that fight with Dr. Umar Johnson. Turn down my phone. Okay, my phone ain't even on. Let me see. Yeah, yes it was. I apologize. On the phone line with us on the Zoom line is Dr. Umar Johnson.
Cam?
And we're going to talk about this fight that we are in. Good afternoon, Dr. Johnson. Are you here?
Peace and Pan Africanism, Baba David. Good Garvey Day from Huntsville, Alabama.
Hey, Huntsville, Alabama. All right, good. So how you been, man?
I've been doing well. Just had two powerful events here in Alabama. Friday night, I keynoted the 60th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March for the Voting Rights Act. As you know, on March 7th, Bloody Sunday, 1965, John Lewis had led a delegation of Africans on the Selma to Montgomery March. And when they got to the other side of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, they were attacked by the police and a posse of citizens, and they were driven back. 2 days later, on March the 9th, the good Reverend Dr. King tried to repeat the march, but he too was forbidden for crossing the bridge. And then finally, on March the 21st of 1965, with the protection of the National Guard provided by President Lyndon Baines Johnson, Dr. King, Queen Mother Coretta, Ralph Abernathy, John Lewis, and the others, they successfully crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge and completed the 4 to 5 day march from Selma to Montgomery, which, as you know, ultimately culminated in Lyndon Baines Johnson signing the 1965 Voting Rights Act. But what I want to highlight, Baba David, is the ancestor of focus at Friday's event was actually the foot soldier, the local organizer who invited Dr. King into Selma, Alabama, because as you know, the foot soldiers, they rarely get the attention that they deserve. And that foot soldier's name was Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese. And I had never heard of him until I was invited to keynote that event. And he was actually the brains and the brawn behind that movement. He actually brought Dr. King in. And although Dr. King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference got most of the credit, understandably so, without the work of Reverend Dr. Frederick Douglass Reese, that would have never happened, and Selma would not have been the birthplace of the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
And you know what's so interesting, Dr. Johnson, is that we collectively went through all of that And to accomplish what? To become where we are today. Where are we today after all of that? I mean, we had civil rights, we had voting rights, we had, and now they're taking all that away. Where does that leave us at?
Oh, cut it out, Father David. Stop placating to Umar. Look at his shirt, too. He got on a second annual, what is it, the unapologetically African family first. The irony of it is Umar, he's a deadbeat. He don't even take care of his kids. I don't know. That was something that happened after. I was trying to figure out, what are y'all talking about? Just running their mouth. He was keynote at Uncle Bubba's bookstore. Yeah, but real talk, it was like there's times where Umar, he'll say that he's a keynote, but he's not. You know, he said, "Yeah, I keynoted here." No, they gave you 5 minutes on stage because you bum rushed the person. They gave you 5 minutes. Cut it out. Yeah. Thanks to us. And then Frigilante says Umar the type of dude to shower barefoot at the gym, especially since his homeless self can get hot water there when he ain't at a hotel. But real talk though, I don't even know if he has hot water there though. Real talk, because you have to have all your pipe work. You have to have a water heater, you know, or in some cases a boiler, but a water heater. I don't know if he has that. I don't know if he has in this operational. Remember, Vigilante, Umar still doesn't have HVAC operating. You remember the HVAC saga? He still doesn't have it working. See? There's ductwork that still needs to be repaired. And what is that term? It needs to be sealed. See? There's so much work that needs to go up there. So I don't even know if he does have water. I mean, he may. But I mean, if we look at everything that's taking place with this school scam, why would we think that he has? I would find it hard to believe that he actually has that in place. I mean, there's other things that's far more important that he doesn't have in place. I mean, there's still exposed wires coming out the ceiling. See? So I don't know. What I do know is that there was a time where he was trying to get that small gym cleaned up, and there was one room in particular where he was trying to set it up because he wanted to live in there. It's sad when y'all think about this. I mean, damn, black people done give this guy $2.7 million easy. And what does Umar have to show for it? He's still homeless. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what happened. By the time we get to 2019, Umar had very little money left. And so whatever money he had left, he threw at these abandoned buildings. Again, online records is 400,000, but it could be way less than that. It's possible. Yeah, it is possible he got him $10. Okay, I get that. We've talked about that in the past, but he could have gotten these for $100,000, $120,000. No transparency. But I do know that by the time we get to February 2019, and he purchased whatever amount it was, that ultimately he didn't have much money left, or he had no more money left. And that's why it takes him a year and a half to actually start quote unquote renovations, because he has to start building up more money with people sending him money. He's still living off of the money that they sending him, but he has to save at least enough to where he can get into a position where he can actually start acting like he's getting renovations done. See this? And then 6 years later, here we are, and renovations still aren't done. See? But that's because he done ran through all of this money. See? You figure that 6 years in, don't y'all think he should at least have the HVAC working? Shouldn't he have all the doors repaired and floors? Based on how much money he's collected, yeah, he should have done it. But he's been living off of this money. So there's basic stuff. And then we ain't even talking about all the bills that he owes. You know, there's all sorts of bills, tens of thousands of dollars in different bills that's accumulated. He ain't even paying on it. If he's not paying on that, see, how do we know that he actually has hot water? It's possible that he doesn't. See, there ain't no telling with this guy. Thank you, Frigilante, for the super chat. Appreciate it. And again, thanks, Louis Stuck. I appreciate that. And then Black Will Rise became a member. Thank you so much. I appreciate your membership. Okay, we got about 1,100 people in the building. If you guys are enjoying the show, go on and hit the like button. I was supposed to have a quick show, but I do want to do two things here. I found the video of the gym, and I think this is the mode video. If it's not, I apologize, but let's go ahead and give it a try. Okay, so this is this video right here.
If he wants to survive, he has to selectively breed.
Wait, what is this? What's it? Oh, I pulled up the wrong one. Okay, let me go to this one. You guys remember this? I'll pull up this shit too.
$50.
It's worth every penny. How y'all doing?
Can I put my suitcase back together? Is that all right? Or you not done searching?
Oh.
Remember, Umar had called for the murder of police officers too. You guys remember that hit the one? I had that in the first documentary. Talking big and bad. See? But then he gets in front of these police officers. What else would he say? Yeah, Maddie, they were searching, and they were doing it to everyone, but Umar, he has to make it about him. He's being persecuted in this sabotage. So he was trying to act like they were targeting him. They were doing this to everybody. Okay, it was an event. Umar was supposed to be speaking there. He wasn't no keynote or nothing like that, but he was supposed to be speaking there. When you pull up, they were checking cars before people could go in. Okay? But Umar, he tried to make it turn into some whole other thing. But watch what he says to this officer. Watch this. See, it's a checkpoint. That's what it is. Umar really tried to play this out like they were targeting him. They're trying to stop him. You know, it's the white man with the police officer. They got nothing to do with none of that. Umar's a trip. But watch what he say. See how sassy he is? Remember, he called for the murder of police officers. And then when people called him out for it, he said, oh, it was audio manipulation. Those were my words, but they manipulated my words so that they were my words, but they weren't my words. Umar, he a trip. he said audio video manipulation or some shit. I said, no, you said that. Just stand on the business. You know what I'm saying? He's such a coward. Anyway, let's go. Yeah. Be a perpetual victim. There go me. Anyway. Yeah, Umar was like, can I put the policeman like that? Shut the fuck up. Umar was like, okay. Let me stop. What's up, Seth? Thank you for the super chat. Extremely sassy and sissified. Yeah, he was like, He did his hand like this. Umar, you funny. Thanks, God, little princess. Let's keep going.
Once you're done, I'll clean it up, boss.
What in the Kunta Kinte did you say? I thought you was Big Papa. I thought he look at, and the guy looked at him like, "What you say? Look at him." He said, "I know you didn't just call me a boss. What? Did you just call me a boss?" Umar's like, "Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, a boss. Okay, boss." Umar up here slave talking and shit. Umar, please stop slave talking. We need to stop this, okay? Umar's like, "Yes, a boss. Yes, a boss." Yeah, yes, a boss. I'll cleans that up for you. Yes, a boss. This is crazy. Umar, he big and bad, right? But he sure got the shucking and jiving. He sure did. Yeah, he sound like Chicken George. That's a doggone shame. Anyway, he said, I clean up my mold, boss. I'ma cleans it. Let me shine your shoes, boss. Boss. Okay. Yeah, he started buck dancing. I should put a compilation where this right after this you see Umar William, he was dancing in the snow. All right. Umar was like, "My name is Toby." I hated that part of the movie. I hated that part so bad. Anyway, let me get out this chat room. Well, Umar, he's so funny. All right. That's what he said. He says, "Cause I cleans that up for your boss." Bossa. What's up, Dion? Thank you for the super chat. Okay, let's get back to it because we got to get going here. I was supposed to have a short show. Umar waiting for the officer to ask if he from Rolling 60s Mafia. That stuff that's going on right now is crazy. It is. It's so crazy. Everyone's talking about it too. There's people who they have shows on YouTube, podcasts, and they're lawyers, and they've been really talking about this stuff. It's crazy. People see that's the thing. Social media, people be dry snitching, don't even realize it. And they get hemmed up, and then all they got to do is pull up the receipts because it's all online. Or even if they delete it, it's on a server somewhere. See? So a lot of these people, it's crazy. Same thing with Umar, though, too. I think there'll be a day where they're going to be pulling up information and stuff that, and it might have already happened, and everything's already online, and they can just verify based upon what he's saying online. They can put together a timeline like I've done online of what he's talking about, what he's doing at any given time, especially when it comes to the money part. You know, when he's giving updates on donations and all this stuff, making promises that he doesn't keep over and over again. That's all. He's such a fraudster. Anyway, thanks for launching for the super chat. Dion also says, I shuck and jive for your boss. Yeah. I remember when I first heard this, I said, what did he say? Because remember, Umar, he's spoken out about police officers a lot. And one time he actually called for the murder of police officers. I can find it and play it for you guys. Yeah. He said you're supposed to take their gun and basically execute them. I'm paraphrasing. And he was so big and bad, but then he got a huge backlash. And what does he do, Dion? Oh, well, those weren't my words. They did some digital manipulation of my words and made it sound as if I was. No. Did nobody do that? And then what happens when he's in front of these officers? He gets the slave talking. But that's Umar. Thanks, Dion. And then Lewis says King Kong has left it, but yeah. But see, that whole persona of King Kong, that's not who Umar is. He's a marshmallow. See, same thing. He talked big and bad, but this officer is not trying to intimidate him or anything like that. But he will call him boss. Listen to this.
Once you're done, I'll clean it up, boss.
He said, I'll clean it up. What? You don't even clean it. What you mean you gonna clean up? Don't make me do it. You really shucking and jiving talking about you gonna clean it up. We know you don't clean up. I just realized that. I can't believe Umar said that. You gonna clean it up. Hold on. Everybody in the Quick Quest chat know that Umar don't clean up nothing. And here's the proof right here.
Strong alpha male, send those resumes in. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FDMG resumes at gmail.com. FDMG resumes.
Look at this. He talking about, and thanks, Little Stuck. He talking about he gonna clean it up. Look. He don't clean up.
Male.
But he sure was talking that King Kong talk, wasn't he? Little Stuck, he was like, yeah, I'm King Kong. I'm King Kong. Seti, what you gonna do, Seti? That's what he said one time. What you gonna do, Seti? He get in front of his police officer. Yeah, boss, I'm gonna clean it up for you.
.com is what we look at.
I'm still shocked by the level of filth. I mean, it's incredible. And he was trying his best to get the screen off, but it was too late. Look at this. I mean, it's so bad that there's trash leaning over on top of other trash. And this wall to wall, look at how far over to the other wall it goes. Look at that. It's just stacked on top. There's clothes in there too. He probably don't, he probably wasn't washing clothes. He'd take it off and just throw it in the corner. Look at that. Oh, it's just so filthy. I don't see how anyone could live in that. There's no way. And he had this little old corner set up where he live streaming, acting like he got stuff organized. Look at this. So Umar, we know you don't clean up, so you need to cut it out.
Resumes.
Talking about, I'm gonna clean that up for you. I'll clean that up for you, boss. Yes. Yeah, Cheryl, this was his last place of residence before he got evicted in 2019. He had been there since at least 2010. It's just so much trash had accumulated over time, and he doesn't clean up. But it's no different than the how the small gym looks now. It's just stuff all over the place. And that's why we were wondering, why would he go inside these gyms? And we covered this yesterday. He was going inside and giving tours early on. And it was just trash. I mean, it looked like, ceiling caved in, exposed wires all over the place, trash all over the place. And it was really, really bad. But I don't think it registers inside of his mind. I should clean this up before I show it. Same thing when he was giving the outside tour. There was trash all over the place. I don't think it registers in him and in his mind for some reason. It's a mental health issue that, I should clean this up before I actually show this. And the difference is that in this case, he didn't mean to show it. He was live streaming, and he was probably trying to block someone or look at the comments, and he actually hit the button to flip the phone, to flip to the other camera. And when it flipped to the other camera, you can see all the filth that he was living in. And he had been doing live streams inside of that same space for years. So it had been like that for many years, It's just filthy. Billy D sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Billy D. And then Black Wolf says, I'm late. What's up, Good Chat? And then did I miss Clog Throat, David, Hype, and Umar begin? No, we barely got into, because I did a whole rant on Stephen A. Smith to start. I apologize. Someone had asked what my take on it. I should do it as a separate show, but it is what it is. Thanks, Black Wolf, for super chat, and welcome. Thanks for tuning on in. I appreciate it. So he forgot to say pause. Yeah, ooh, you funny, boy. Okay, thanks for all the super chats. We got to get going here because we're already an hour and a half. I was supposed to be done like around now, but we're gonna get going here. Let me just play this one more time, and I want to show you guys the gym with the mode. I think that's the mode video, and then we'll get to the main video. Here we go.
Once you're done, I'll clean it up, boss. Done.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, Umar tried to act like they were stopping him and persecuting him. No, it was a check. They did that to everyone who went through there. Okay, and then somebody asked about this yesterday, and I think this is it. It may not be, but I'm going to play it. Let's see what happens.
We live. Peace.
Yeah, this is 2021, January 2021. Yeah, there's no air conditioning, no HVAC. There's just one door that's open.
Peace and black power. Peace and black power. It's the Prince of Pan Africanism. We live and direct. This is the second annual. We're going to call this a pre-cleanup day. You know what I'm saying? We still got to move some furniture, but we got the gym. Both gyms were taken care of today. This was the gym cleanup day. We had a special gym cleanup day today for all the brothers and sisters who came out the day before yesterday for the Patriots Day anti-protest. We are in the Nat Turner Gymnasium.
Yeah, there was no, anyway.
Jacques Dessalines. This gymnasium is dedicated to the memory of the two greatest African revolutions to take place in the Western Hemisphere. That's the revolution of I-80 and the revolution of the Prophet Nat Turner, brothers and sisters. We cleaned up the other gymnasium. I still got to come up with a name for that. I might name that one after my mother, though. That might be Queen Mother Barbara Gymnasium. We working on that, but the Queen Mother got to get
I forgot
one of these buildings named. Something will be named to her honor because she's the woman who gave birth to the prince. You understand? Black Madonna and child. So we
here he go.
Cleaned up the big gym in the Honorable Frederick Douglass building. Now we cleaning up the small gym. You feel me? Cleaning up the small gym, trying to get it ready for our children, brothers and sisters. Trying to get it ready for our children. Let me show y'all. We mopping the floor. I got to show them the floor one time.
This is so
That's
ridiculous.
the floor. We mopping the floor. The brothers is doing a good job with the floor. Floor being mopped. We got 3 classrooms. We cleaning up the classrooms, right? And then we got a balcony up top.
Okay, those aren't classrooms. What is he talking about? Those are little small offices. Boy, he be lying.
We probably gonna cut the walls down a little bit, put some chairs up there. Brother Mitch jumped up there one time. You know what I mean? So we're going to get like 2 or 3 rows of spectators up there when we start doing those FDMG basketball tournament. What can we do in here for ladies? What's something women can do in here? Volleyball? Is the ceiling high enough for volleyball? Yoga? But what about sport? Like,
they can play basketball too, Umar. Come on now.
Say again. Netball. What's netball?
Netball is something like basketball, but without the backboard, where you see with the skirts and the jumper and the...
Okay, netball. Okay. Say again. Dodge. Dodgeball. Dodgeball. Yeah, so we getting it together, y'all. Nat Turner, Haitian Revolution, we out here. We out here getting the work in, y'all. This is the gymnasium. We trying to get the gymnasium ready for Black History Month. That's our goal. We want the gym ready for Black History Month.
That would have been February 2021.
That's what we're working on, brothers and sisters. That's what we're working on. We out here. We canceled the second protest because of the rain.
They were protesting nothing. The whole backstory to that. That was crazy. He had a protest. There wasn't nobody. It was an anti-protest, but there wasn't a protest in the first place. They were all standing out there outside in the cold. It was sad.
The haters didn't show up the day before yesterday. That Fabuloso smelled lovely. We needed that. That changed the whole energy.
No ventilation.
So we in here.
Gym style. You know what, fellas? When y'all get a minute, we got a little puddle. We got to make sure we don't leave no puddles. Yeah, this is lovely, though. This is lovely. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Couldn't we put a row of chairs against the wall during the game?
No, you can't.
Why not?
Goofy.
But they going to be standing there anyway.
He's so stupid.
But they going to be standing there anyway.
Umar is so, I don't want me to say it that way, but he's so stupid. It's like a foot between the inbound line and the wall. What you talking about, Goofy? He don't. Adriana, he gonna keep saying it too. They ain't gonna do it anyway. They ain't gonna do it anyway. Yeah, over there cleaning in the dark. So ridiculous. Umar, though, he funny,
Couldn't we put a row of chairs against the wall during the game? Why not? But they gonna be standing there anyway. But they gonna be standing there anyway.
Okay, Umar, dang.
I think we could put the chairs around.
Hey, see that black mold? That's the shit that I was talking
We gonna wipe it off.
You hear what he said right there? Listen carefully, Cook Crush Chat. Listen carefully.
But they gonna be standing there anyway. But they gonna be standing there anyway. I think we could put the chairs around.
Hey, see that black mold? That's the shit that I was talking
We gonna wipe it off.
No ventilation. He said, you see that black mold? And Umar said, we're going to wipe it out. No, you have to do mold remediation for that. It's crazy. They have to go into the drywall and see what's behind there. How's it going, Virgo Child? Thanks for tuning on in. And Southern Napping, thanks for doing Vanessa. It's crazy. And Umar, what did he say? He said, oh, we're just going to wipe it off. It's not. People actually can perish from that. They can get real sick, and there's people, they'll actually, boy, I tell you. Yeah, you have to remove the drywall. There's a whole process they go through. They treat the area. They'll remove the drywall. They'll run fans. I mean, there's a whole process. When they come and do it, they come in hazmat suits. Okay, not the kind that you see like at a, not the kind you'll see like what do they call that? At a nuclear facility, you know, those movies, not that kind, but they come in where everything is covered. They got a mask on and all that stuff. And see, they're in here with black mold, with water on the ground, no ventilation, and you know, no mask, no nothing. And what does Umar say? Oh, we just gonna wipe it off. We're gonna wipe that off, family.
But they gonna be standing there anyway. But they gonna be standing there anyway. I think we could put the chairs around.
Hey, see that black mold? That's the shit that I was talking
We gonna wipe it off.
about.
We gonna get that. We gonna get that.
The fact that they even have water down on the ground with no ventilation and there's black mold on the wall is crazy. That water's all dirty.
We knocking it out, y'all. We getting your gym ready, brothers and sisters. We getting it ready.
Yeah, and you can see it back there on the wall towards the back. You see it's going up the wall. Well, this is crazy. Looks like there's some in the corner too.
Working. Somebody said why the lights not on. That's a dumbass question.
Here
Somebody said why the lights not on. Now, if you've
see that back there, that's what the guy was talking about. That's all black.
been following the work, you knew that we have an electrical contractor currently working on this project, brothers and sisters. So the lights will be on soon. We getting it ready. We working. Somebody said why the lights not on. That's a dumbass question. Somebody said why the lights not on. Now, if you've been following.
Yeah, see right back there, that's all black mold. And it's not just on the edge there. There's some on the, going up the wall too. I can see it, but that's crazy.
Following the work, you knew that we have
And it's not just a little bit.
Have an electrical contractor currently working.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
On this project, brothers and sisters. So the lights will be on soon. The lights will be on soon. Okay.
All right. And then this was the it was about let's see, 2 days prior to this. This was the anti-protest foolishness. Check this out. Y'all remember this hit the one.
Tell the people why you out here today.
I'm out here to support Dr. Umar Johnson, man. You see the school right here, man. There ain't nobody doing nothing like he's doing it, man. Point.
Yeah, none of these people are around anymore.
Blank period.
One love. One love. Why you out here, Trey Ball?
Man, I'm out here to support my guy for 6 years, man. Tell all the haters to go ahead with that.
I'm out here to support. I'm out here because when I heard the call, I said I'm coming. I'm like, no, yeah, that's how we roll.
One love, one love.
She over here asleep. Dang. He ain't got no chairs out here. And it was cold too. I remember it was cold. Y'all remember this Cook Crush chat? It was cold back then. He didn't have nothing warm for the ladies, you know, have some, I don't know, hot cocoa, hot coffee or nothing. They just standing up. She over here sleep on the wall. Damn. And they out here for nothing too, by the way. There wasn't no haters coming to protest. I forgot about this shit. That's what I'm saying. I really was thinking about setting up a whole nother channel and call it the Umar Johnson History Channel. And what I'll do is the first video would be the documentary going all the way up. It'll be the clips from the documentary to cover his childhood. Right? Then when we get to in around 2010, we just start covering all Umar videos that I have. And we'll just go from the beginning all the way to the 2050. You know what I'm saying? I forgot about this. This was a situation where Umar came to believe that the haters, it was going to be me. I guess he thought I was coming to some people in the Cookie Crush chat from way back then. Y'all was going to go up there too, and other people. We were going to go up there and protest and do a march against It don't even make any sense. Like, who's going to travel across the country and it was cold. I can't remember how cold it was back then. I don't know if someone want to go look it up, but again, this was 2020. It was December 2nd, 2020. So if someone could go and look up December 2nd, 2020, what was the weather in Wilmington, Delaware? It was cold. I remember it was cold. And who's going to travel, from different states or whatever to go there to protest and do a march? And march for what? So Umar, he turns this into they're trying to sabotage. They're trying to sabotage the school, and the haters, they're going to show up. And these people believe it. And they come out there to, I guess, anti-protest to the protest when there wasn't a protest in the first place. This lady, she's sleeping
over there. Say something to the people. Why you out here?
She's like, I'm out here because I'm tired. He's like, I'm out here because I'm tired. I'm trying to get me some sleep. I got up too early. I'm trying to get, I'm asleep right now. She sleep while she's talking. That's okay.
One love.
Poor thing. He ain't around either. You see how they all bundled up.
Umar Johnson, not only is he an icon of mine, but he's also
dang, whoa, that's crazy. It was a low of 9 degrees and a high of 23. And this was in the morning time. That's crazy. Yeah, temporary. That's crazy. Y'all leave that lady alone. Said she tired. Y'all leave that lady alone. I shouldn't have made no jokes. I feel bad for her now because she's out there in 9 degrees weather in the world, a high of 23. Wind chill factor not included. That's why they all bundled up like this.
Vice President, principal back in
Yes,
elementary
sir.
school too, so I got to support him, man. Everything he says.
Oh, he's saying that Umar was his vice principal. Let's see.
Back in
Yes,
elementary
sir.
school too, so I got to support him, man. Everything he said mine, but he's also a vice president, principal back in
Yes,
elementary
sir.
school.
Principal or vice principal? I wish this guy could. I wonder if he said. Let's see if he says what school.
Too, so I got to support him, man. Everything he says the truth, and I'm standing by the truth 100%.
One love, one love.
Man, I wish he gave this. Let me replay that.
One love.
Yes, sir. You already know I'm out here to support Dr. Umar Johnson. Not only is he an icon of mine, but he's also a vice president, principal back in
Yes,
elementary
sir.
school too. So I got to support him, man. Everything he said.
Yeah, I think he's meaning to say vice principal. So, yeah, I can. Then I'll say from now on that he was a vice principal. I wish he gave the school because then I can look up and see how long he was a vice principal. And he said in elementary school though. Yeah, I don't know how old this guy would be, so I can do the math to figure all that out. But anyway, yeah. So from now on, I'll say he was a vice. So I'll say at least there was a guy that said that Umar was his vice principal. That doesn't confirm anything, but I'm going to at least give Umar that credit. Okay.
The truth, and I'm standing by the truth 100%.
Yeah, he said back in elementary. This I don't know. Anyway.
One love, one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, I could kind of. There's no way of telling how old he is. I would probably guess 26, maybe. That would be my best guess. 26 years old. This video again is from 2020. So let's take 2020 minus 26. That gets us down to 1994. And then if he's in elementary school, let's say, I don't know, let's say he's 8 years old, maybe. We're just guessing. 2002. And let me go look at and again, someone said early 30s. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can see that too. Let me just look on this timeline. We're just throwing these are just estimates. I don't like to operate like this, but we have limited information. In and around 2002, Umar, he was still working as a school psychologist, so that doesn't work. Yeah, because he started working in a school district as a school psychologist in 2001. And he worked through 2006, and then he started working. Yeah, it don't work. It doesn't even work out with the timeline. Let's assume he's in his early 30s. Let's try that. Okay, so we're gonna go 2025 minus 30. That gets us to 1995. Let's just guess he was probably, let's say, around 10 years old. That gets to 2005, but he's still working as a school psychologist at the time, so that doesn't work either. Yeah, I can't give Umar credit for this based on what he's saying. I mean, this guy, he could be lying. It's just that, again, we would need to know specifically how old he is, and then we would need to know what school he went to, and then what year it was that Umar was allegedly his vice principal, and then we can go from there. But there's simply not enough information here. But yeah, it's true. The math is not working. It's not working at all. That's the other thing. He might be just a lying, Antoinette, because first he says vice principal, and he kind of stumbles a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this video's from 2020. Let's listen one more time. See, I'm always looking for these types of nuggets of information to put into the documentary. Here we go.
Man, everything he says the truth, and I'm standing by the truth 100%. Dr. Umar Johnson, not only is he an icon of mine, but he's also a vice president, principal back in elementary school too. So I got to support him, man. Everything he says.
Yeah, he's saying vice principal. I think he just means to say vice principal, but he was messing up principal. Yeah, and he said elementary school. Yeah, the timeline doesn't work because Umar was working specifically as a school psychologist from 2001 to 2006, really 2000 to 2006, because he did his internship in 2000. And then based upon what Umar says, in 2007, he starts conducting private work for charter schools. And back then he was claiming to be a doctor, but he didn't have no PsyD. or no doctorate degree at the time. He was lying about that. So I don't know where this would fit in. I have no idea. Anyways, it's interesting. I mean, he could be lying. It's possible. No, it's true. Listen, I know how Umar is. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. And if in fact Umar was a vice principal, you know, I want to include that inside the documentary. You know, and I want to know what years and at what school, and if he was a principal, I want to know that too. I can include that inside the documentary. I'm fair. Listen, but he could be lying. That's true. Yeah, yeah, Kev, he could be a crisis actor. Say, when I get to you, I want you to say that I'm a principal. That I was your principal. Then he said, oh, yeah, he was my vice, he was my principal. I'm just playing. It's possible. Let's see. Louis Suck says, this looks like one of those soft white underbelly videos. Oh, no. I used to love watching those. I have to stop, though, because they impact you. I'll be feeling so bad for people. Because these people look like the addicts in those videos. Yeah, it's sad. Some of those videos are so tragic. I have to stop watching. I was subscribed and everything. It's really good stuff, but I have to stop watching that because the stories that they be telling, I just be feeling so bad for people. I think that guy's out of LA too. It's sad. I remember he was trying to help this one lady, and I think she had a child, and she was dealing with the drug dealer, and he was pimping her out or something like that. And he tried to get her own place, but he ended up moving in where she was at. And he had her come back and talk with her and talk with her boyfriend / pimp, drug dealer, whatever. It was crazy. And I just felt so bad for that young lady. And the guy that does the show, he was trying to help her out. You can tell it broke his heart. Thanks, Louis Luck. Yeah, I had to stop watching that show because it started getting to me. Umar got 2 phones. Yeah, he does that though. He does that. I've seen him where he's holding 2 phones and he's live streaming at the same time. I've never seen him with a tripod. That's crazy. How you gonna raise millions of dollars and you can't even buy a tripod? But see, the thing is with Umar, he's so scattered and disorganized. If he bought a tripod, he'll end up losing it or breaking it or forgetting it someplace. See, because he's a vagabond. He just travels. You know, he's never stationary since 2019. And even back then, he was traveling a lot. You see, but once he gets evicted, he don't have a place to go back home. He don't have a home to go to. So yeah, I've never seen him with a tripod, but I've seen him holding 2 phones while he's live streaming. That's crazy. But that's Umar. Special request for the human lawnmower. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. What was the name? It was the lawn. I don't want to pull that one up, but since you're asking, a lady, it's called the FDMG Conscious Lawn Care. This was around 2019. Okay, we'll do that next. So let me get to these super chats real quick. Thank you, a lady. And user 225 says Umar Johnson be like, black mode helps our kids be more black. No. It's serious. It's a real serious hazard. It's actually a biohazard. And there are people who they can ingest it, and they can have all types of physical and serious physical problems, including passing away from it. You know, so it just goes to show you, Umar, and in addition to not even know, he doesn't know. I don't think he knows that. See, and even still, if he knows, he don't care. See, but why would you have these people up in there? Remember, there's just one door that's open. They're putting Fabuloso and water on the ground. Okay, there's no ventilation. There's no HVAC. There's standing water, and there's black mold on the walls. That's what I'm saying. Who would want to send their child to this guy? That's nuts. Okay? Yeah, that black mold is serious. Thanks, user 225. He tried to wipe me off too. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I believe you guys. What? Listen, I don't want to talk ever again. I don't want to talk about that boil. Okay. When I saw that boil, when I saw it, I only thing I can think of was in the Bible. I said, yeah, it looked like what it looked like back then with the boils and stuff. So, but we're not going to talk about that no more, okay? All right. Dion says Umar got the Great Wall of Stank in his mama house, but supposedly wants to clean. The lies. He really just scared off anyone with authority over him. Yeah, and the thing is that in addition to the filth, Dion, like you're saying here, I'm sure that it smelled horrible in there too. I don't think that registers with Umar either. Y'all remember, and I could probably find it, but for sake of time, my goodness, we always do this. Some of you, Dion, you may remember this too. There's a video where Umar is walking people through these abandoned buildings, and there's no electricity at that time. And there's a young lady who's talking, but she's covering her nose like this while she's talking. And Umar says, "Why are you covering your nose?" And she says, "It's the smell." The one. See, I don't think the filth registers, and I don't think the stank registers with Umar either. That's a problem. And I'm sure the other people, they smelt it. I'm sure they smelt it too. They just probably didn't want to. But this young lady, she told him, and Umar was like, So I don't get it. I don't see why people, would even think to. Anyway, thanks, Dion, for the super chat. Yeah, it's that stank. It's the filth and the stank. I'm sure it stunk up in there. I guarantee it. You can't have all that shitting all over the place and be sitting there, because that's accumulating for years. You can't have all that inside that little space and it not smell. Thanks, Dion. And I got this one. Thank you, Lewis Luck. And then Swagonito says, as long as Umar keeps sneak kissing women, we're going to bring up that bump. Yeah, well, you got a point there. Again, we talked about this the other day. And listen, I'm just going to put this on here real quick. Tariq Nasheed called Umar. This is when they were beefing. And Umar had been taking shots at Tariq for many, many years. I'm not a fan of Tariq. I'm not a defender of Tariq Nasheed. I don't even watch his videos. Okay. I haven't even watched a whole Hidden Colors yet. But Tariq Nasheed, they were beefing, and Tariq Nasheed was going in on Umar. And he said that when he first one thing he said was that when he first, and this ties to what Dion was saying, when he first went to go interview Umar for I think it was for Hidden Colors 1 in 2010-ish, 2011, that he thought that he was going to be going to like an office, because Umar was claiming to be a school school psychologist, and he thought he was going to be going to a professional office to go record Umar. But when he shows up, it's like a storage unit. Sounds familiar? He said there was trash all over the place, and everything was disorganized. He says that Umar said something like, "Yeah, I haven't been in here in a while. No, it's just filthy." But what he does is, just like what he did when he flipped the phone, he set up a little area behind him and made it look nice. I can pull it up too. You guys can see the backdrop. See? So that's number one. But that's consistent with what we see with Umar when he set up when he flipped that phone. You see, he had a little backdrop set up, but he's living in filth. See, well, he told that business. Tariq told that business. He also said that he had to go and pay. I can pull it up and play it for you guys. That he had to go and pay the digital editor to go in and try to color correct this big old boil on Umar's lip. I call it a boil. He called it something else, but that's what it looked like to me. Like, for Moses' day. And the irony, I've seen Umar kissing women on their cheek, and they don't ask for it. He just kissed real quick. I showed examples yesterday. It's called sneak. I call it sneak kissing. You can still see where that bump would be. And the thing, goodness, there was a guy years ago, and I think he was in New York, and he said that Umar was out there, and he happened to see Umar, and he greeted Umar, and Umar was getting out of the car, and Umar greeted him, and he said that he was so disappointed because Umar had an open sore on his open sore on his lip. It's probably this right here. And the way he was describing it was like, not only was it open, but that anyway, we're gonna leave it right there. We're gonna leave that right there. But the point is, Umar knows he has this issue, but it goes to show you that he doesn't care about other people, because if you know you have that issue, why would you be kissing women on their cheek or otherwise, or anywhere else, I should say? You see what I'm saying? Here we go. Here we go. Umar Johnson's in the building. Okay, and I see your points, Ragnar. I just don't like talking about it because it's just gross. It's really gross. Anyway, thanks for the super chats, everyone, including Umar. Let's go. Let me go back to this real quick. I just want to play a little bit more of this. Here we go.
Truth, and I'm standing by the truth 100%.
One love, one love. What y'all doing out here?
Yeah, she used to be around a lot too. She's not around anymore. I remember her.
Second that.
Her too. I remember her. They cold. Yeah, I remember her too.
You know, our children deserve better. And we can't put that in somebody else's hands. And I think God has got the solution. We just need to advocate to just a little bit to what he said. And we can go further than we ever thought.
Talk to him, Queen Mother.
I'm a supporter of Dr. Umar.
I remember her too. She ain't around.
And one thing I know is that life is short.
All right, homeboy, give this a thought. The next time someone's teaching, why don't you get taught? It's like that, and that's the way.
The way. Yeah. I'm so tempted we could do a Umar Johnson history channel. Yeah. Oh my God. Deep chattering and shit. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. Yo. Oh my God. All right, let me get out this. They was getting it in though. Y'all got to give her credit for that. And he's like, huh? What's going on here? Yeah. That's what this is. Anyway. Okay, let's get back to it. Boy, this Umar Johnson saga is wow.
Talk to him.
FDMG. What a blessing to our people. What a blessing to
cold.
the young people coming up. Continue to donate. Continue to give your support to this mission. It is what we need for our children in the story. Blessings.
Oh, poor. I feel so bad.
Tell him why you're here.
I'm here to support Dr. Umar. The school looking great. Brother putting in work. Proud of him. Please support. He out here doing the best. We out here doing it, man.
Yes, sir. Righteous. Tell him why you're here.
I'm here to support the babies.
I remember her too.
Always, you know, the babies
She got that heater on.
are the greatest.
One love, one love. Talk to him, King.
Hey there, what's going on, brother?
You live with the people. Tell them why you're here to support.
I'm here from Wilmington, Delaware, you know what I'm saying? Showing solidarity to a brother who been ostracized by some of them, you know what I'm saying, and had to do it by himself. And people wonder why things take time. Things take time when you...
Damn, y'all, this is man, this is 6 years, 5 years and 8 months ago, 9 months ago. 5 years and 9 months ago, and he's saying that things take time. Wow.
Island, you know, it's hard to get the job done by yourself. But if we come together in unity, like the Fist always said, you know what I mean, we make it like this.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, that's what he said.
I'll push the brother. I might not be able to do it financially, but I can
probably not.
Bring the rest of it.
Powerful, powerful. Where the mother brothers go with the RBG? There's a few more.
Yeah.
Oh, the brother with the king. Let me go hit him. Talk to me, King. Tell him why you out here. You live on Facebook and Instagram.
He ain't around either.
Support FDMG. Where there's some people who are coming through, haters.
That's right.
I'm standing up for a kid.
That's right.
So it's all about the children.
Make sure you support.
That's right.
We out here. We don't see them though. I don't know.
We don't see them. They ain't coming. They scared.
No,
Tell 'em
no,
what.
no. It ain't that. It's not that people are scared, Umar. It's that no one ever said. Man, this guy, he lives in an alternative universe. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? What was that? Twilight Zone. What nobody said they gonna show up. Umar just goofy, just making up shit. He said, yeah, they were never coming in the first place. You know what I'm saying? They were scared. No, Umar, stop it. He had me fooled there for a while. Yeah, he's fooled a lot of people. He's still fooling people to this day, you know, but hopefully more and more people will wake up. Again, these 99% of the people that we see in these older videos, they're not around anymore. Umar's burned so many bridges. See, when he got those properties, people were really, really excited. They were coming to they were walking through them, they were sending more money. Well, here we are 6 years later. These people ain't around anymore because they realized the truth. They wised up. See? Thanks for the super chat. There's a car alarm going on. I ain't heard a car alarm in so long. I apologize. Thanks for the super chat. CJ talks in life. The unpopular traveler says they out there cold. Some even brought kids. Yeah, it's sad. And for no reason. Just because see, real quick, I didn't mention this, and I don't think I mentioned it back then because I didn't understand the code dynamics of this. This is a code dynamic. There is no threat. Okay. There's no one showing up to protest. Protest what? But Umar uses this as an opportunity to spew this message that somehow he's being persecuted as the cult leader, and they're going to protest the school because he's Big Papa. And so then he rallies his cult members, and they come out for no reason at all. They don't have a reason to come out because there was not going to be a protest. They're doing an anti-protest to a protest that doesn't exist. Why would they do that? It's mind control. That's the cold dynamic. And they're even willing to come out here in the cold, freezing temperatures, to do an anti-protest to a protest that doesn't exist. And someone brought kids. Now that's deep right there. Thank you, Unpopular Travel. Thanks for mentioning that. Now see, all these years later, I can look at these things differently, plus all the research and all the other stuff. But then you can also look at this in terms of all the stuff that Umar was doing and saying he was doing the whole time. He's a deadbeat. He ain't even his daughter's life. Daughters plus another child. I don't know if that's a daughter or son. He got at least three babies. Right. Thanks, the Unpopular Traveler, for the super chat. I think I got to everyone. Let's just watch a little more of this because it's interesting seeing this for all these years later.
How you here, Manny?
Oh, this is our brother Manny. He passed away. Rest in peace. He used to help Umar out a lot back in the day. So rest in peace to brother Manny.
And we out here supporting, FDMG. We out here for the right reasons, though. But we out here for the goofy shit too. For the haters. Everybody want to be hating on the movement, but we out here for the haters. We out here whenever, however,
so sad.
Whatever, whenever. Yeah.
Talk to him, King.
It's so sad. Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the brother.
King, why you up out here?
Right, support Dr. Umar. We believe in his cause. We believe it's right. We believe it's best for the community. And we out here in force to show it for it.
One love, one love, one love. Appreciate that.
They ain't doing nothing.
Shout out to the supporters out there, Dr. Umar, FDMG. We out here with the family, showing solidarity. It's about the children, y'all. Keep everything focused on the children. School for black boys, no more special ed, no more ADHD, no more discipline school, no more misdiagnosis, no more conduct disorder, no more mental retardation, no more emotional disturbance, no more crying black mothers calling.
This is sad. And it bothers me too because there's women out here and it's cold. Women she shouldn't have the women exposed to elements like that, especially unnecessarily. And Umar with his big ass head. Let me stop. Umar, I don't see no kind of, tea up there, hot tea or hot cocoa or hot coffee out there for the ladies or blankets, none of that stuff. And they're out here for no reason. But you know what? Those of y'all who've been around and been watching this Umar Johnson saga, there were so many instances of this type of bullshit that was going on. I mean, we can put together a whole list. But this right here was so ridiculous.
Whatever you got to say, share it on out. DrUmarJohnson.com, FDMG forever, Garveyism a get back, Pan Africanism a perish. One love.
Yeah. And then this was someone that asked for this video right here. We gonna cut it down. We gonna cut it down. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. We gonna cut it down. We gonna cut it down. Whatever it is. I tell you. All right, let's get back to the video for today. We got a little blowed off. I think I pulled up everything that people asked for. There's so much more I can pull up. It's crazy. And it just goes on and on and on to the break of dawn. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, after we went through all of that.
Well, the thing is, Baba, and before I respond to that, I also wanted to mention.
Umar got black people out singing like the ancestors. Yeah. They had him working in that field, man. That's called a field holler. An old Negro spirit. It's called We Gonna Cut It Down. Say we. I said we. I say we gonna cut it down. The cookie crust chat can dry and sabotage on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, especially on Monday. But we gonna cut it down. Fairy side. Fairy side. We gonna go to school on Monday, next month, forever, yeah. You smoke crack, don't you? Let's go.
And give a very special shout out to the students of HBCU Oakwood University here in Huntsville, Alabama. They invited me to campus yesterday. Powerful program. The students showed up and showed out. Jam-packed audience. One of the most powerful receptions that I have ever received at a college campus. And that was yesterday at HBCU Oakwood University. So shout out to those students. I've been posting pictures of them all morning on my TikTok.
Just checking on everyone. How's everyone doing?
And Oakwood University, Baba, is actually built on a former slave plantation.
Here we go. It's built on a former slave plantation.
So what was the purpose of their gathering yesterday to
Umar, what did he say?
On my TikTok and Instagram, and Oakwood University, Baba, is actually built on a former slave plantation.
Lord, please give me the power of FDMG, because we working We working today. I say I don't need no water. Oh, I say I don't need no tree. Oh, Lord, please give me the strength and the power, 'cause we working. I say we working. We are working at FDMG. Focus. All right, let's get back to it. We go.
So what was the purpose of their gathering yesterday? To commemorate or to generate more interest now?
I would say to raise the consciousness of the students as to where we need to be headed and what we need to be focusing on. At this point, Bob and David, because we're still in the month of March, I still kind of treat my college visits right now in March as a continuation of Black History Month. So I kind of stayed with that theme. Coincidentally, my visit to HBCU Oakwood University yesterday came a day after the 60th anniversary of the Selma to Montgomery March and the subsequent Voting Rights Act. So for me, I still saw it as a continued celebration of the Voting Rights Act in the Selma.
Thanks, everyone. We got the 500 likes. I appreciate y'all.
Selma to Montgomery March.
Oh, so we have the Voting Rights Act, but still a lot of blacks act like ain't no need no voting.
Well, the thing is, Baba, and to your earlier question, the reason why we are losing ground is not just because of the aggression of racism, but because of the passivity of Black America. We are a willing participant in this rollback of Black people's rights because we don't fight anymore. We are disorganized. And to be honest with you, Bob and David, we are very comfortable with where we are. Most Black people cannot see beyond the immediate comforts of their environment. They can't see beyond the nice house. They can't see beyond the...
See, he always talking shit about Black people, but you see, he's homeless. He wants y'all to be homeless too. He don't. One time he said he don't want y'all purchasing soap to wash. See, but that's because he's filthy. He don't clean up after himself. He don't wash. He don't bathe properly. He tell y'all want to have a home. What you talking about? Well, that's what a homeless person would say. That's called poverty consciousness. See, Umar, you a trip.
Mercedes. They can't see beyond the fake hair. They can't see beyond the Air Jordans. They can't see beyond the fancy restaurants, the cell phone, or their YouTube account. We have literally been hypnotized by useless conveniences, and our addiction and attraction to these useless conveniences are going to be the very thing that America uses to distract us long enough to lynch us with. During President Obama's administration, it was the image of the Black president in the White House that distracted Black people from the fight. So we took 8 years off of doing anything for ourselves as it relates to fighting against the power structure. But with Obama gone, social media and the conveniences of American society has largely taken his place as the leading distraction in Black America that's keeping us from focusing on our own agenda.
Yeah, I say that we have been sedated. They have sedated us with, like you said, with social media and people thinking that, they don't want to get involved. But what's going to happen when they get their pink slip? What's going to happen when their institution closes? You know, then will that wake them up, or will that?
No, you just go get another job. What are you talking about? Boy, I tell you.
Just make them think that they still want to become a part of this American society.
Listen, having your own place, whether you're renting or owning or leasing, that ain't got nothing to do with wanting to be part of American society. That's the basic needs. But Umar don't know about that because he's been homeless since 2019. You see this bullshit? See, Father David, no disrespect, sir, but you're supposed to be an elder. You got to be at least, I would think you're at least, what, 104? I'm sorry. I had to do it. I shouldn't do it. I apologize. I shouldn't have done that. Father David, forgive me, sir. Okay. I heard you and Moses. You used to ride the donkey into town on Mondays. Anyway, you're supposed to have some wisdom, right? But you up here sitting up here. What kind of knowledge is this to be given to black people? No, black people, you need to be stable. You should have a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? You should be working towards a future. That ain't got nothing to do with being part of it. I mean, that's about, being a responsible adult. Meanwhile, Umar been homeless. He only take care of his kids. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I apologize. That mummy woke up. Mummy was dead and woke up. Father David, are you still Father David? Anyway, I shouldn't have done it. I apologize. Umar plays on 1930s fears and makes every attempt to bring it to 2025. You're right. When the world is completely different from back then. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. A lot of his rhetoric is antiquated. That's one of the problems when you're talking about people like Marcus Garvey and such. They didn't have the internet back then. It's a whole new world. You know what I'm saying? We have electricity nowadays. We have vehicles. We have airplanes and all kind of shit. And not that they didn't have. I'm just giving this hyperbole here, but the point is that when you're sourcing information that's antiquated, it doesn't really have much functionality in modern times, in 2025, in this case. And this is so true about Umar. See? But that's not uncommon. There's a lot of people in the black conscious space, the shit that they be saying, it's really not reflective of 2025 reality for black people. It's old rhetoric that they used to listen to. And in some cases, really, really old rhetoric that they found online, all decades and decades and decades later, in some cases, 100 years later, 200 years later. And they regurgitate this shit as if it's pertinent and relevant to the day, when in point of fact, it's not. See? And a lot of the rhetoric from Umar is disparaging towards black people, but secondarily, he tends to preach this idea of black disempowerment, that we're the perpetual victims. That's dangerous. Why would you teach black people that? And he's saying, yeah, I'm trying to empower black people. No, you're not. You're disempowering black people. See? And you're using rhetoric that's antiquated, that isn't relevant in 2025 in order to manipulate black people and mind control them into thinking that somehow what they're experiencing today is reflective of what our ancestors experienced, and nothing can be further from the truth. Okay. It's a good point right there. Real talk. Thanks, Black Wolf, for Super Chat. And then Unpopular Traveler says, Umar don't need a house when he has a planter. Yeah, that's real talk right there. Yeah. The thing is that he's been living off of black people for such a long time. I think for Umar, he's not sedentary because he would much rather be a vagabond and just roam. See, but how long is he going to do that? He's 50 now. How long is he going to be able to do that? At a certain point, his body's not going to be able to take it. See, I don't even think he thinks ahead like that. But he's so used to just traveling here and there and not having to have a place to call home. He's a rolling stone. Wherever he lay his head, that's where he called home. See? But it's not sustainable long term. It's not at all. But Umar, he's so used to it. He's been doing this for such a long time. I don't even think in his mind he says, I should get a house. I should get an apartment, and I should settle, and I should at least have a place that I can call home. He doesn't have that. Umar interviewing in Alabama. Goodness gracious. Thanks, Unpopular Traveler. And then Ike says, I see why he sued Umar. That's $3,000. Oh, you talking about when they were, but this wasn't everything. But you know, really what this shows here, it really shows how, you know, Umar never had a plan. You know, why would people at least attempt to cut the grass with, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't want to rehash it, but what Umar should have done is he should have, from day one, when he first purchased abandoned properties, but again, he had ran through that money anyway. He'd been living off of the money since 2014. By the time you get to 2019, there's very little any left. But what he should have done, he should have had at least $800,000, about $800,000 left over after he purchased abandoned buildings. He should have bought one of those sit-in lawnmowers and then painted it red, black, and green, put some little FDMG logo on it, and then sit his big ass in it once a week and just live stream while he's cutting the grass. People would have loved that shit. They would have been sending money like crazy. See, but he never had a plan, and he's lazy. See? Can you imagine if he had done that? And he wouldn't even have to do it throughout the whole year, because at a certain point it gets too cold, so there's snow on the ground, and so there's no need to cut the grass anyway. But if he did that from day one, when he got up there, and just use it as an example for people to see and do it consistently, well, that money would have been flowing in like crazy. But he never had a plan. Okay, and he still don't have a plan to this day. He's just fumbling around. Yeah, it's sad. And thanks for that. Sergeant sent in a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope I got to everybody. Let me just make sure because we're almost done. This video is really that we're watching. We're already halfway through, so it shouldn't take but a couple more minutes here. We'll be up out of here. Thanks again, Black Wolf. A lady says, why go to Africa when the Africans are here? Yeah, that's another one of his antiquated rhetoric. Most Black people here, overwhelmingly in the United States of America, we have no interest in going back to Africa to go live. In fact, there are many Africans that don't want to be in Africa, and they're trying to get up over here. In fact, there are many Italians that are trying to get from Italy to get up over here. In fact, there are people from Belize who are trying to come from Belize to get up over here. People from Mexico trying to get up over here. You see what I'm saying? There's people in Europe. They're trying to get up over here. See? There's people in China who are trying to get up over here. See? But Umar, he has this old antiquated rhetoric. It's the back to Africa rhetoric. See? But see, if Umar want to go back to Africa, why hasn't he done that? Why don't he just stay his ass over there? Anyway, thanks for the super chat, lady. How's it going? Sasha says Baba David was at the parting of Red Sea. Yeah, he parted it himself. He got to talking and mumbling. Let me stop. He was like, I shouldn't have did that though. That was wrong. It was funny, but I shouldn't have did him like that. Thanks, Sasha Love, for the super chat. Beast Nation says, what Umar talking about? He ain't talking. Yeah, he oftentimes he just be running his mouth. If you guys listen carefully, he ain't saying nothing. What we used to call that, he be talking out the side of his neck. He ain't just be running his mouth. They ain't got nothing. It's just talking. That's what Umar does. That's why Father David have him on there, because he just sit back and listen. He ain't got to do nothing. Just throwing a couple of questions here and there. Anyway. Thanks for the super chat. Okay, let's get going here because we got to wind this down already. We already the 2.5 hours. Let's try to do an hour and a half. Here we go.
We want to be a part of the system, Baba. And Black people don't want to admit it. But for most of us in America, our number one objective in life.
I just have to hear something.
Sedated. They have sedated us with, like you said, with social media. And people thinking that, they don't want to get involved. But what's going to happen when they get their pink slip?
Father David knows that Umar's a fraudster too, by the way.
What's going to happen when their institution closes? Then will that wake them up, or will that just make them think that they still want to become a part of this American society?
We want to be a part of the system, Baba. And Black people don't want to admit it. But for most of us in America, our number one objective in life is to be accepted by Caucasians or die trying.
Wow.
Period. We want our children to be accepted by Caucasians. That's why we send them to white private schools.
Umar is ridiculous. And he shouldn't even be taught because he only take care of his kids.
Pay $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year for our children to be mistreated at these white private schools. Because for most...
Yeah, but Umar, you trying to charge these Black parents about $10,000 a year. Excuse me, you trying to charge them about $5,000 a year for a school that don't exist. Anyway.
Black people, their definition of success includes approximation to white people, imitation of white people and validation by white people. Let me say that again. For most American Africans, that includes our immigrant African brothers and sisters, that includes our Caribbean African brothers and sisters, that includes our Canadian African brothers and sisters, Central and South American. For those of us across the world, Baba, this is not just an American phenomenon, although we're focusing on this particular demographic here. But the truth of the matter is most members of the African race, nearly 2 billion people worldwide, their goal in life is imitation of Caucasians, approximation of Caucasians, and validation by Caucasians.
Yeah, I would say because, you know, a lot of people want to belong to the winning team, want to be a part of the winning team. And they see and think that the American...
There is no consensus
I have to skip
on a black agenda is because there are competing interests. Remember, wherever there are competing interests, you cannot reach a consensus. The reason the Mexican Americans can reach a consensus, the reason the European Jews can reach a consensus, the reason Chinese Americans and East Indian Americans and Native Americans can reach a consensus is because they do not have competing interests. We have black people who are different groups are looking for different things. Some black people want genuine freedom. I want genuine freedom for my people. You want genuine freedom, but a lot of our people don't want genuine freedom. Some black people are only fighting for a better job. Some black people are fighting for a seat at the black bourgeoisie. Some black people are fighting for a grant. You know, everybody's fighting for something selfishly that doesn't really have much interest to do with the people. We can't get to a consensus until we stop the competing interests. And one of the things that we're going to have to do is really figure out who is absolutely serious about black liberation, economically, politically, spiritually, socially, psychologically. Who is absolutely dedicated to black liberation? And if you are Baba David, you must also be dedicated to black institutionalization, because the next great struggle, as we've talked about it before, it is a struggle for black people to recreate the independent communities that...
Yeah, by the way, black people, this notion that we need freedom and this, again, antiquated rhetoric. Okay. And whenever I hear black people say stuff like, yeah, I'm working to free black people, just shut the fuck up. You ain't, Umar, you don't have a job. You don't have a home. You're a deadbeat bum. And you're sexually exploiting these black women, impregnating them with the bumpity bump. Who's you to be the person that's going to somehow save and liberate black people? Cut it out. Black people don't need to be saved and liberated unless you adhere to this idea and notion that you're the perpetual victim. Okay, it gets into the rhetoric again. It's ridiculous. I apologize for going on, but Umar, he a trip. Let's see. Rodney says, Umar says that he has 40 acres of land he got for free in Ghana. Yeah, he does. He did. He also said that they offered him land near LA. I have it in a documentary. Yeah. There was something else too. I can't remember what the other one was, but he had gotten some free land someplace else too. Well, if that's the case, why it take you, from 2014 to 2000, it takes you 5 years. Really, we can go back to 2010. It takes him 9 years to find a building. If he was given all this free land, see, he lies so much though. Anyway, come on now. I mean. The thing is that even if he was given acres, he wouldn't want to have those acres because that gets him a step closer to having to open up some school. Okay. So, I mean, we can assume that he's telling the truth, but even still, I would think that if he was telling the truth, what's the result of that? Nothing. He's probably just making the shit up. He always lying about something. Thanks, Robbie. I remember that. Yeah, Rodney, we covered that. I remember that. We covered that. Thank you for the super chat. The Unpopular Traveler says, if Dude in the Blue wasn't born in Africa, he should have. No. He was. He's from. I thought he said he was from Ghana. I thought Ghana or Nigeria, something like that. But that's Patrick. That's Patrick. He be coming He's like Father David's tag along. Sometimes he talk too. Sometimes. Here we go.
We had in the days
I apologize.
of the
Thank you for the super chat, Unpopular Traveler and Rodney. I appreciate it. CJ says I almost drank the Kool-Aid, and okay, I got that earlier. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did too. And there's plenty of other people out there that are still rolling with Umar. It's just a matter of time. Unless you're part of what I would call the Umar Johnson cult, there's different tiers to it. There's some people that, like, no matter what Umar does, they're going to believe in him. They're going to believe him and defend him. There's another tier of people where they believe in him, but they also recognize that he has some flaws and some serious contradictions, and he's a hypocrite, but they still support him. There's another tier of people that like, okay, I like his rhetoric, but I don't really support him like that because it's just he's always in some mess. Then there's people who are like, he's on some bullshit. Then there's people who are like, okay, he's on some bullshit, I'm going to criticize him too. You see? So it's just different tiers to it. The idea is that the sooner a person can get out from under this Umar Johnson quote, whatever level they're at, the better. Because really, any Umar Johnson follower, if you ask them, okay, how has this benefited you personally? 99.9% of the people aren't going to be able to give you something legitimate. And then the other 0.1%, they'll come up with some shit that kind of makes sense, but it's probably not something that's tangible, that's quantifiable. You see? Oh, well, he said this and it helped me, with my child. Yeah, but you should have did that shit yourself. Okay. We're always looking to someone else to do what we should be doing for ourselves. And Umar doesn't say anything that you can't find doing your own research online, let alone going to a library to get more information. You can find he doesn't say anything that you can't find online. In fact, a lot of the shit he say isn't even factual. It's just him making up shit, exaggerated, antiquated rhetoric like we were talking about earlier. And people, they buy into it and believe that it's true. See? But the truth of the matter is that when it comes to your children as Black people, the responsibility ultimately is on you. Whatever struggles that you're dealing with, it should come back to you. You make the decision. And Umar does not present anything that you can't find online that you can find for yourself. You see? So what's the use of Umar? Well, this is so much more tied into Umar. He's a master manipulator. He's the great deceiver of our time. And he's been able to manipulate and brainwash and mind control people to where, and they actually begin to start to see him as some sort of a great Black leader. And in some cases on the higher tiers, when you get to the cult dynamic, they see him as their savior. He's their Christ figure. That's scary. See? So again, there's plenty of people that's they've been manipulated by Umar. They believe that what he was saying, they got hoodwinked. But the idea is that the sooner that you can come up from under that, sooner you can escape from this master manipulator, this great deceiver, the better. And that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. Because we've all been fooled by people. I was fooled by people even as I've been covering Umar. I mean, there's people that I used to promote and all kind of stuff, and you come to find out it's a whole nother, and then I have to stop, and then I have to apologize to people and all this other shit, But the idea is that through that process, I've developed more discernment. See, well, the same thing with Umar. People will develop more discernment as they go through whatever tier they are, and hopefully you're going from top to bottom. Hopefully you don't ever go to the top, but maybe you're at the middle and you just come all the way down to the bottom, and you come to the realization that at some point he's on some bullshit. See? All right, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, let's finish this up. Let's see. We got about there's about 10 more minutes of this. Here we go.
Right, excellent, most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. We have to recreate Tulsa. We have to recreate Rosewood. We got to recreate Wilmington, North Carolina. We have to See,
he's always talking about what we, quote unquote, we need to do, but he never does any of the things that he says he's going to do.
Create Charleston, South Carolina. Those great Black societies that we built with our own two hands, only 50 years out of slavery, is what we need. Institutions are 50% of the solution. The other 50%, Baba David, is you have to fight.
You taking it back to the old school. OE is Old English, if y'all don't know. They had it in 40 ounces. My dad used to drink that. It was called King Cobra back then. I don't know if they still have King Cobra, but they did. I'm sure they still got Old English. It's called malt liquor. Anyway, shout out to Sky on that one. That took me back. Let's go.
To protect your independent communities from white sabotage and destruction. So half of us still got to fight the system, but the other 50% of our work.
Yeah, Patrick, he's in Wilmington too, by the way.
Should be dedicated to building ourselves up. Look at all the HBCUs, Baba David, that have closed down in the past 30 years. Absolutely embarrassing to a $2 trillion people. We should be buying up all the abandoned HBCUs, and those abandoned HBCUs should be the foundation for the Black Wall Streets of the 20.
You know, but Umar, you've taken $2.7 million of black people money, and you have done nothing with it, nothing of consequence. What are you talking about? You need to go get a job so you can do all these things. Colt 45. Yeah, I remember Colt 45 too. Yeah, Colt 45. Yeah, Colt 45, King Cobra, and then the malt liquor. Yeah. Anyway, I never drank. I'm not saying I used to drink or nothing like that, but my dad, he used to drink all that. Here we go.
First century. If we are not building,
yeah, I know,
we are not serious.
You know, feeding into what is there and just going to actually make a living. I don't.
Yeah, over the food truck.
The black agenda is there, but it's not a group agenda. The agenda has become individualized agenda, and if we do it that way, we're not going to succeed.
Yo, man.
That's a very well point. And one of the things that I am trying to formulate now, Brother Patrick and Brother David, is how I'm going to mobilize those under 30. Because as you know, the truth of the matter for both Black America and Black Africa is the greater portion of our population is 30 and under. And so they're the future, and they're the ones who are going to have to live with the consequences of whatever we do the next or don't do the next decade or two. And because I'm probably the most popular non-celebrity amongst our
here we go with the narcissism
youth in this country, I have to use that influence that I have to bring them into political consciousness and to bring them into political action. So I am currently working on some things now to do that, because it's a lot of power and I cannot afford to waste their energy. And so I'm going to be working on that. But it would be a very powerful thing if we could somehow have the adults ready to train and receive and work with those young people when they come to the table, because they're still going to need that guidance. As the African proverb says, old men for wisdom, young men for war.
But you see how he again, that's the narcissism too. He sees people as resources, you know, that they have, there's power in numbers. So he wants to be able to access and wield that power. And that's through the manipulation. That's why I'm saying he's a master manipulator. That's what Sauron did in Lord of the Rings. And more specifically in the Rings of Power. That's what he did. The Umar, he's the same way. Right? There's this video. I don't remember actually seeing this. So I'm going to pull this up before we close out though too. Let me just, yeah, okay. I'm going to pull that up. Let me go ahead and let this play. I'll be right back.
You know, but if the elders and if the adults are so consumed with the pursuit of money, you know, we have a very big problem in Black America, especially amongst Black men, where our whole life is dedicated to the pursuit.
You see this guy? Look who's talking.
Of money. And I'm not talking about a brother struggling, looking to make sure he has enough income to pay his bills. That's different and that's understandable. I'm talking about Black men who are already at a relatively comfortable place in their life where they should be dedicating more time to the rebuilding of the community, but they would rather just chase more and more money so they can consume more and more materialism. I mean, this type of illness is very prevalent amongst the celebrity class, is very prevalent amongst the hip hop industry, where you see Black men who already got enough, at least enough to hold them long enough to give back to the people, but rather than focus at all on the people, they would just rather to.
Yeah, good point, Eastby. Remember, Umar was saying that black women should give Black men $700 a month to help support the Black man in his endeavors. Y'all remember this?
Continue chasing money and materialism. Our addiction to European capitalism is going to be the downfall of Black people if we don't divorce ourselves from it.
He's right about that.
I kind of disagree with you when you say that you're one of the most popular non-celebrities. I would say, why did you think yourself as not a celebrity? You a celebrity?
I hate the word. But
I understand,
I think he is. I think Umar is a celebrity. I think he's a social media influencer. Yeah.
Connotations of celebrity,
That's
though.
right.
You know what I mean, Baba?
I
When you
understand, but
think
I'm
of
a celebrity.
you don't think of activists. You don't think of
That's right.
sacrifice. You don't
That's
think of organizing. You don't think of struggle.
Right.
Okay, Umar hasn't organized anything. He hasn't sacrificed anything. He's always begging for things all the time. He hasn't built anything. What has he organized? Nothing.
You know what I mean? And that's why I don't really like to use the word.
Yeah, it should be.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Parby. Parby gifted a membership. If you receive that membership, make sure you thank Parby. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. I appreciate it. All right, here we go.
That's right. And just like they want to eliminate Black History Month, we celebrate Black History 365 days a year. You know,
Exactly.
so we don't care if they eliminate it take it off the calendar. We still going to
That's
celebrate
right.
it. I'm going
That's
to celebrate
right.
my Black History every day.
That's right.
You know, and think about it. They're talking about dismantling the Department of Education, which you've talked about on this show numerous times. Like you say, so what if they do this? I say now is the absolute best time for us to create our own schools like you're doing. People should be tearing your door down, trying to see how can we duplicate this across the country.
You can't duplicate something that doesn't exist. What are you talking about, Father David? By the way, if y'all get this whole show, I just been pissed off. You know what I'm saying? There's a poll question. I'm about to close this poll out because we're almost done here. When will FDMG open? 5% say 2025, 2% say 2026, 4% say 2027, and overwhelmingly 88% say 2055. Okay, it's more likely that it's going to open in 2055 than 2027, 2026, and 2025. All right, thanks everyone who voted. I'm going to close that poll out in just a little bit. We're at 556 likes. Let's see if we can get to 600 before we close this out. Okay, 500. We're at 555. I'm sorry, 555. So we need 45 more votes. If you haven't voted, you're enjoying the live stream, go on and hit that like button. We got about 1,100 people in the building. And I want to thank everyone so much for tuning on in. We're going to finish this up, but there's one other thing I just want to pull up here. I don't think I've actually played this particular video. I just want to say, and maybe I have, but I'm going to pull it up in just a moment. Here we go.
Thing is, Baba David, I'm glad you brought up that Department of Education elimination agenda, you know, because as you know, we've been at this FDMG Academy campaign. We've had the school for 6 years. And the quick update on that is once we get these floors covered with the tile, we will be applying for our certificate of occupancy.
Oh my God. He was saying this back in 2023. He said the renovations were done in 2023. And then next thing we're going to need to do is apply for the certificate of occupancy. I remember one time he said we were waiting on the certificate of occupancy as if he had already applied for it. I remember that. Y'all remember that hit the one? Because I remember I stopped and said, wait a minute, what do you mean you're waiting on it? You haven't even put in the certificate of occupancy yet. This guy, I know, see, this is what we were talking about. I think it was yesterday with the it might have been today. Somebody brought up how he just regurgitates shit. Well, this is the same thing. Was that yesterday? It was yesterday. It's the same thing over and over again. That's why you have, I know, I should have put, I apologize for that. I should have put never on there for that it's never going to open. I was talking about how that's why it's important to know the history and the timeline. And then what happens over time is you start to see a pattern that emerges. And then you also see how he just regurgitates things. He says it over and over again. He's actually said this before to to Father David, when at least a year ago, when he was interviewed by Father David, he was talking about how we need to put in our certificate of occupancy. We need to put in for it. And then here we are in 2025. He's saying the same thing. See, why doesn't Father David check him on this? See, wait a minute, you said that 2 years ago, or you said this last year. See, but Umar, he always regurgitates the same thing over and over again. Normally what he does is he'll say it, then he'll start talking about how he was struggling with this and that, and how it owes me and the sabotage, this type of thing. And he starts blaming other people. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over again. Ain't nothing changed. Yeah, more paint. You know, we need to do the floors, doors. We still got doors, whole doors. Anyway.
So we've been through the storm, but guess what? We almost out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Once we lay that tile down, it's now up to the city to inspect and give us our certificate of occupancy.
See, he wants to transfer responsibility from him over to the city, so that way he has an excuse. Then he can blame the city, not blame himself. There's a whole lot more work that needs to go into these abandoned buildings. There's mold remediation. We've already talked about that. Okay. Is he getting a certificate of occupancy for just one building? Or is he doing it for the what he calls a small school and the small gym? He hasn't even showed the small gym, and it's filthy in there. See, notice he ain't giving all that information because he wants to have a comfortable excuse and he wants to set it up in advance. In fact, years ago, he already stated, it was last year, he already proposed what was going to happen. He says, well, you know, I'm already think I'm going to have to be prepared to take the city to court because they're not going to give me the certificate of occupancy for discrimination. He's already setting it up. He already has excuses lined up because he doesn't want to blame himself for being a failure and for people to realize that ultimately this is a scam. He doesn't want to succeed. He just wants to keep collecting money. See?
So we dancing at the finish line, Bob and David. You remember
he said the same thing last year. Hit the one. We almost done. He said the same thing. It's been 6 years since he acquired these abandoned buildings. 6 years and 1 month. Yeah. And it's actually 6 years, 1 month, and 20 days. But remember, he conceptualized this in 2004 and 2005. He said that he began the process of building FDMG. And then in 2010, he made an announcement that the school is going to open September 11, 2013. And then he starts collecting money for the St. Paul's College in 2014. Then he acquires his abandoned building 6 years ago in 2019. And here we are, still making excuses. See? yeah. What the HVAC? Yeah. It is. Listen, and when I say it's exactly the same thing, it's exactly the same thing. He says the same thing over and over again.
We went through all that HVAC stuff.
That's right.
And we went through all that plumbing stuff.
That's right.
And we went through all the roofing stuff and all the electrical. We've been through it all. It was been a long road.
That's right.
But you know, if the tile is the only thing we got to worry about, we are in good shape.
Yeah. Did you get the doors done?
Yes, we changed the doors as well. We got new doors.
Patrick was like, and they're not brand new doors either. We already covered that. Umar lied about that too.
Doors on there.
All right.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is, as you know, a lot of people laughed. They mocked us. Yeah. Why is he starting school?
Yeah. Here he goes.
And now Donald Trump is proving to our people why we need FDMG.
That's right.
So a part of me is smiling at that, although this is unfortunate.
Yes.
Because people said, why do we need a school? Now you know why.
That's right.
Listen, you don't have a school, Umar. You have abandoned buildings.
Because the U.S. Constitution, as I've said so many times on your show through the years, the Constitution does not guarantee your child the right to learn. How many times have I said that? The word.
Yeah, he got some new, and they weren't brand new either. We already covered that, but he got some new doors that took him about 6 years. Yeah, that's true. Umar, he a trip. Here we go.
Education is not in the Constitution. So yes, he can get rid of the Department of Education because it is not a constitutionally guaranteed institution.
Yeah, he supported Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying he would do this part of the long. Yeah, I actually, and he supported Donald Trump for this election and for the last one. I have he was interviewed and he was, I can pull it up and play it for you guys. He was interviewed and he was asked, well, who would you prefer? And he said, well, I will prefer Donald Trump over Biden. Yep. And see, the reason why he went so hard against Kamala Harris is because Umar, anytime he sees any person, whether they're black or perceived to be black, he wants to denigrate them because he wants to be in a position of power. Umar, he says that people are jealous of him, but in point of fact, the narcissism in him, he's one of the most jealous people that I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot. He's jealous of successful black people, and especially ones who have power. See? So listen, whatever your political affiliations happen to be, it's irrelevant. I'm stating a fact here that the reason why Umar spoke so heavily out against Kamala Harris is because he did not want to see someone who is either black or perceived to be black, let alone a black woman or perceived to be a black woman in a position of power. And then he tells people not to vote for her and blah, blah, blah. And in some cases not to vote. But then he comes on the back end talking about politics. Well, if you're not going to vote, then why are you talking? See? And why would you telling people not to vote for Kamala Harris? Okay. And again, whoever you vote for is irrelevant. I'm just stating a point. Well, the reason why he did that was because he doesn't want to see a black person in power because he wants to be the HNIC. And that's real talk. I can pull up the video. I was shocked because they said, "Well, who would you prefer?" He said, "Well, I would prefer Donald Trump." I said, "What? This is what? Almost a decade ago. It was a radio interview. I have it. It's in my notes." Okay.
So now what's going to happen? Let me explain to black people really quickly.
But maybe can you hold
yes, sir.
Take a break, and
yes,
then
sir.
you can explain it.
I wish he hadn't interrupted him because I was hoping he was going to keep talking about FDMG.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back.
But the point, Bob and David, is this. Those who laughed at us for building FDMG, those who...
Notice he says for building FDMG, he didn't build anything. He's such a manipulator. He's a liar. Umar was paid not to run against Biden. Yeah, they paid him. Because I remember one time he said the Democratic Party sent him $2 million. There's probably about two of you guys who know about that. Hit the one. There's probably about two people that know about that. Umar, he posted it on his Instagram page that the Democratic Party, they were sending him $2 million. I don't even know for what. Well, if that's the case, Umar, where that money at? Didn't you use that money to open up a school by now? Anyway, there's more than one, two people. Now this is a long time ago. Okay, you remember this? What's up, yellow man? Yeah. I remember this. Yeah, no, I'm serious. I'm not making this up either because some people they think I'm joking. I'm serious. He said that the Democratic Party gave him it was on his IG. Yep, that they gave him I think it was $2 million, right? And I remember we were like this. What? But then I thought about it like, wait a minute. If they gave you $2 million back then, why didn't you use that to open up this school? And here we are in 2025. He's telling Father David that he's built the school as if it's already open and it's operational. He ain't built nothing. How are you going to say that you built something and there's no evidence of you building anything? See, because if you build something, there's going to be a structure, right? If you're building a school, there's going to be a school structure that you're going to be able to see over time it being built up. That's not what we see. What we saw was some abandoned buildings back in 2019, and we see some abandoned buildings in 2025. In fact, in yesterday's live stream, I showed some pictures, recent pictures that was taken either yesterday or the day before of how these trap bandos look. And then we were looking at old videos from 2019 and ain't nothing changed. Same mold growing up on. It's probably it's a couple of generations now of extra mold that's done grown, but it's all the same family. It's the black mold family. Ain't nothing changed up there. But he gonna get on here and he gonna tell people that the school that we built as if Umar, he's something else. Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, the mold is winning, family. that mold is undefeated, family. That's one thing Cook Quest Chat have in common with that mold is both y'all undefeated. All right. He also said that I remember this too, that the Democrats offered him $10,000 in 2024 to promote Kamala Harris. Obviously, a lie on his part. Yeah, that was another lie, and there were people who were reporting on it as if it was the truth. See, now listen, if they contacted him, wouldn't he show that? See, what he showed was a text message, but Umar is known for just making up shit. Some of the stuff he posts on his Instagram page, he wrote that shit and he's talking to himself. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Anytime you got someone doing shit like that, don't deal with him. Umar does that. He will put together a message and a reply as if someone texted him, but it's really him talking to himself. He's a weirdo. Okay. All right, we got to finish this up. Here we go.
Question the necessity of an independent school for black boys. You have all the reasons why we need that school now.
That's right.
You have all the reasons why, because you might not have a school for your kids in the next 5 or 10 years.
Here we go with the bullshit. Here we go. We're at 587 likes. Okay, we need 13 more to get to 600. That's our goal. We're almost done here. We got 1,100 people in the building. Thank y'all so much. Cookie Quartet's undefeated. I'm about to close this poll out in about a minute. Make sure you get your vote in, family. Here we go.
So everybody better start building schools and stop worrying about when ours is going to open. Start building your own because we need it right now.
That's right.
Whoa, what? So people going to give you $2.6, $2.7 million, but they can't worry about when your school is going to open? This man, Umar is a trip. He's a con man, a charlatan.
How many other independent black schools are there in the country?
No more than 50.
Okay. He don't know that to be true. He's just throwing out some numbers. He's supposed to be a scholar. He don't know. He should say, I don't really know. I can look it up. Let me see if I can look it up. But not Umar. He always have to act like he knows everything. That's one thing I noticed about Umar. If they ask him a question that he doesn't know, well, he'll come up with an answer. He'll come up with an opinion based upon, even if he doesn't know what they're talking about, he'll come up with some opinion. That's the narcissism. See, that's what he's doing right here.
And probably closer to 25. And if
how are you going to say there's 50, but it's probably closer to 20? Boy, Umar is a trip because he don't know what he's talking about. He said 50, then he said, yeah, but it's probably closer to 5 or 10 or something, maybe 8. I don't know. Well, I gotta go. All right, let's finish this up. Okay. I was supposed to be done like an hour and a half ago. Not about an hour ago. Okay, we're gonna finish this up right here. Make sure you get your votes in, and then we'll close up this live stream. Here we go.
You want to say how many independent black schools actually operate in a legitimate school building like we have? Not more than a dozen.
Now he's saying not more than a dozen. Which one is it, Umar? Listen to this guy.
If you want to say how many independent black schools actually operate in a legitimate school building like we have, not more than a dozen.
That's a blatant lie. He's talking about in the whole country. This guy, he's something else, but that's just to demean other people and what other people are doing because he's not doing it. And he said he has a legitimate school building. No, you don't. Those are trap bandos. They're still on the vacant property list with mold growing on them. Filthy.
And that's why it's important more now than ever to build these.
Has Umar to date put forth? No, because he mentions it in here. He says they still got to put the tile down. So no, he hasn't done that. It's crazy because it was years ago on the Breakfast Club. He said that there was only 3 weeks worth of work left, and then here we are years later, and he's still fumbling around. He hasn't put the tile down yet because he mentions it in this interview. He says, yeah, that's the next thing, and then we got to put in a certificate of occupancy. There's all kind of stuff that needs to be done, but he's specifically talking about this. I think he's going to do information. I think what he's going to do is he's going to get some flooring done, and then he's going to pretend as if everything is completed, and then he's going to put in a certificate of occupancy, or he won't put in a certificate of occupancy and claim that he did, and then he's going to say that it was denied, even though it's probable that he didn't even put one in the first place. He's going to say that it was denied if they're discriminating against him. And then he has to file suit because he already gave this plan before. He has to sue the city now. And then it turns into a whole nother fiasco, just like the anti-protest. He's always into some mess, and then his followers, they'll hear this and they're going to feel like he's being persecuted like we've talked about in the past. And in these cults, what happens is that when they feel as if their cult leader is being persecuted, they rally around him even more. They send him more money. They defend him even more. And then it just continues over and over and over again. Okay. So we're going to see. But as of right now, no, he hasn't done it. He hasn't been up there in over a month, but inevitably he has to go back up there. And you know this, because he has to be able to put himself in a position to ask for more money. And so he has to be up there and use it as a prop, these abandoned buildings, and say that he's doing this, he's getting this done, give the illusion of progress, and get on your PayPal, send your checks and money orders. It's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. Watch. Okay. Shout out to Information Man too. Appreciate you. Each B says bumpity bump. Listen, is that all you got to say? Come on, EB. I don't like talking about that bumpity bump. I really don't. And he be kissing on these women's cheek. That ain't right. That's not right. Anyway. Yeah, he got the bumpity bump. Thanks, ESB. And then I says, Google says there's 521 black-owned schools. Yeah, but Umar, he see, Umar wants to pretend as if he's the only one doing, and he's not doing anything in the first place. Let's be real about that in the first place. He ain't doing shit, but he wants to pretend, because it's all head movies with this guy. Someone said this earlier in the chat room. It's head movies. He wants people to believe, and he wants to give the illusion that he has a school that is functional to some degree, that he's doing all these things. He's built the school, and then there's all these other black people. They're not doing it like him. They don't have legitimate school buildings like him. And so he says, oh, there's probably about 50, but but probably only 25. But Google says there's 521 black-owned schools, Umar. Who y'all gonna believe, Google or Umar's lying ass? Anyway, thank you for pulling that up, Ike. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat as well. What's up, Ed? You late, bro. We almost up out of here. I got to go through. Here we go.
They didn't laugh at me so much, Baba David, that Donald Trump then gave them a reason why they better start building their own schools.
Yeah, well, I wasn't laughing at you, and I've always been supportive of you, even without a school. I'm still supportive of you as a certified child psychologist. And
he's not a certified child psychologist. He's never been a certified child psychologist. He did have a certification as a school psychologist. There's a difference. Anyway.
And when you said that you was going to start the school, I said, well, this is exactly what black people need. This is an example of how we can do for ourselves, plain and simple. Plain and simple. So, well, tell me, Doctor, what's your next move? So you say you're going to get the floor tiles, and then you're going to be ready for opening in September?
Well, once we get the floor tiles, we have to go through inspection.
Right.
And that's when we ask the city to come and see if everything is up to code. Right. We got to do the city inspection, and then we have to do the fire department inspection. And as you know, and I don't want to, put any negative energy out. We're going to keep everything positive. But you and
here we go.
I both know they never expected us to finish that school. They never expected us to finish that.
It's not finished.
School, and I do have people who are not happy about me being in Wilmington, Delaware. Although I get tremendous support from the grassroots community in Wilmington, Delaware, there are people.
Yeah, this is from 4 days ago.
Within the power structure, and there's also some reactionary Negroes on the ground who are not happy about us being there. So we're just going to pray, stay positive, and ask the ancestors to help us pass that inspection process with flying colors. And if all goes well, Baba David, we'll be having our grand opening on the eclipse of September 20th and September the 21st, which is also Kwame Nkrumah's solar return. And as you know, I am a...
So he's saying, what is he saying? The August, is he saying August? No, September 21st of 2025? What is he saying here?
Return, and as you know, I am was past that inspection process with flying colors. And if all goes well, Baba David, we'll be having our grand opening on the eclipse of September 20th and
September 20th. And I think he said September 20th, 2025 now. Damn, this is crazy. Here we go.
Which is also Kwame Nkrumah's solar return. And as you know, I am a proud citizen of Ghana now. So you talk about a coincidence. What greater coincidence than opening up the school on the weekend of Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's Earth Day?
I was wondering about that today. So what do you think that black people should do? Do you think that we should consider repatriating to Africa?
Absolutely.
No, it's
absolutely.
Not me.
And even if you do not physically repatriate to Africa, you have to politically and economically repatriate to Africa and start investing. One of the things that I am so grateful for with having...
Yeah, but it's impossible because he has to get children enrolled and have faculty and staff way in advance. I mean, we're in March, April, May, June, July, August, September. In 6 months? Come on now. This is ridiculous. This guy... in 6 months, and then they have to pay their tuition. They have to pay I thought he said they have to pay the first year up front. So these parents going to have to come up with $5,000 over the next 6 months. And it's an impoverished neighborhood. He has to still get buses. He has to get faculty and staff. He still there's still ceiling tile. I mean, there's mold all anyway.
My dual citizenship is I can now open up a bank account in Ghana, you know, because I want to start building wealth over there so I can start investing and building and helping over there.
You see what he's saying here? Now he's talking about money going over to Ghana and setting up a bank account. He probably already has a bank account up over there. He over here dry snitching. Yeah, the enrollment for next school year has already started in most places. Yeah. So the children that he thinks would be attending if he opens on September 20th, 2020, they probably already made a commitment to go to school at these other schools by now for next year. Good point, Edward. Very good point. Very good point.
Because ultimately, I want an FDMG Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah campus, you know, and so I want an FDMG Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara campus. You know, I want an FDMG Johannesburg, Robert Sobukwe campus. You know, so I have a lot of ideas, and as Brother Patrick said, he and I'll be speaking about some things as well. You know, but for me, having my Ghanaian citizenship comes with an obligation. You know, because as I've said to you before, although I'm very popular here in the States, I am 5 times as popular in Africa.
I know that.
5 times as popular in Africa. And so I really need to show my brothers and sisters on the continent that Pan Africanism for me is more than a word. It's a movement and it's a lifestyle.
That's right. Listen, we got to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to come back with some closing comments from Dr. Umar Tunde Johnson.
We almost done. Here we go.
You have any closing comments, Dr. Johnson?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to remind everybody that we can use their donations as we complete the Marcus Garvey building of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, because we will start renovations on the large building, the
I gotta go. I have to go. I can't. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. World. Here we go. I gotta go now. Listen, thank y'all so much for tuning on in. It only goes for a couple of more seconds. Let me go ahead and play these few more seconds, and then I gotta go. What did he say?
Building of the Frederick Douglass.
Back with some closing comments, Johnson.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to remind everybody that we can use their donations as we complete the Marcus Garvey building of the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy, because we will start renovations on the large building, the Honorable Frederick Douglass High School. So please make your donations. Go to PayPal.
So now he needs money for renovations on the larger building, even though he's supposed to be doing the grand opening for the smaller building on September 20th, 2025. You can't make this shit up. Here we go. And it just keeps going and going and going. Your kids will see this. You must have seen this video already because you was right on time. Thanks for the super chat. Let me just play the rest out. Then I'll read the final super chat. We up out of here. My goodness, thank you.
/FDMG Academy. Again, that is PayPal.me/FDMG Academy. If you need to reach me by phone, you can text message me. I don't answer unless I know who you are. So please text me 215-989-9858. Again, that is 215-989-9858. If you are in Alabama, I will be speaking today in Huntsville, Alabama at 5 p.m. And you could text me for that information. I'll be at Florida A&M University, HBCU FAMU next weekend to keynote the Black Psychology Conference. I'll be at Grand Valley State University April 3rd. I'll be at Binghamton University on April the 15th. And I'll be in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
What about the school?
On April the 17th. Black parents, if you have any issues with...
See, he can't ask for money anymore, really, for renovations, because he said the renovations were complete in 2023. So he can't ask for money for renovations in the smaller school. I mean, he could, but so now he's saying the larger building. That's what he's doing. That's the strategy here. That's crazy.
Your children, please reach out to me before you make any decisions about special education or medication. 989-9858. Peace and Pan Africanism.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right, there you have it. Man, this is wild, y'all. I had no clue. Thank you for the super chat. Go real quick. Golden Child says, can you play the clip where Baba David said Umar Abdullah left the show because he probably had to go paint the sky? I gotta find it. It's gonna take me a while to find it. Let me write it down and I'll look for it for the next live stream. I remember that though for sure. Father David, Umar got mad and ran off the show. And Father David was he said Umar probably left because he had to go paint the school. I'll find it and I'll have it for the next live stream. Left to go paint. Go paint the school. And I think that's when I said that I felt as if Umar wasn't gonna go on the show anymore. But evidently I was wrong about that. So I was wrong. He was gonna paint the school. Okay, I'll see. I'll do my best to find it. Okay. Thanks, Gold Child. But I remember that y'all hit the run. That was hilarious. Beast Nation says Lenon about to have that gif of the Rock heavily rolling his eyes. That's the gift of the Rock, heavily rolling his eyes when Umar says some weird shit. Yeah, because this is crazy. See, remember, I remember when he said it, back in 2023, he said that the renovations were done. I said, Umar, why would you say that? Because now you're not going to be able to ask for money for renovations anymore. See, now we're in 2025, and he can't keep spinning this tale that he needs money for renovations on the small school anymore, because he already said in 2023 that renovations were done. He actually said it quite a few times, right, since that time. Okay, so what does he have to do? Well, this is the next step for him. He simply says, hey, listen, we need to start renovations on the larger building now, so I need y'all to send me money. This guy, he's such a con man. And at the same time, he's going to be opening up FDMG on September 20th to 2025 on the other side of the street. Okay, wait a minute. He ain't got no money to pay faculty and staff. Why you asking for donations for the other side of the street? Shouldn't you be trying to get money to help with this faculty and staff? See, he don't want to get to the faculty and staff part. See? I told people that a long time ago. Yeah, he's something else. Thanks for super chat. And then Parby says, cybersecurity expert, YouTube star, and OBGYN. Yeah. Saw an earlier video where you stated that you delivered 3 of your children. Yeah, I did. My wife and I, we delivered, it was me and her. We did home birth for the last 3 children. The first 2, they were born at a birthing center. And then we did all the research in advance. And then we had a backup plan just in case there was any complications and stuff. Everything went well. So our last 3 children, we did home birth. And it was just me and her. And then the other kids, there were 2 there first, then it was 3, then it was 4, and then for the last baby. But they all my children, they're getting older now, you know. And then thanks, Lenon and the Moms, for a great show. Good night, Cook for Chat. Thank you so much, Parby, for being here, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I hope I didn't miss anyone who sent in super chats, but I want to thank everyone for all the support. Again, this month, this is probably, I'm at this point, I want to say this is probably my 5th best month. Maybe 6th best month that I've had on YouTube. It's actually, I did better this year than this month than last month, which is very telling because we did really, really well last year. I want to thank everyone for all of your support, showing up, participating, whether that is with the polls. I need to close this poll out. Whether it is hitting that like button, the comments inside of the Quick Reset. That's the best part is the comment section. And then also I want to thank everyone who's been supportive financially of my YouTube page. I do not take it for granted, and I appreciate it. We'll be back next week, probably Monday. We'll probably come back and revisit this particular video just to kind of listen again to what he's saying here. This is just wow. This Umar Johnson saga continues, and listen, there's no end in sight. I don't see any in sight, but I do know this, and I want to close with this. Umar has to place focus back onto these abandoned buildings because that's his main source of income. So at some point here shortly, we'll see him up there at those abandoned buildings, looking all broke down and bummy, begging for money. Watch, you'll see. All right. Thank you again, Cook Ray. Let me go ahead and close out this poll. We had over 1,700 votes. When will FDMG open? 6% say 2025, 2% say 2026, 4% say 2027, and 88% overwhelmingly say 2055. It's more likely that it's 2055. Now, I'm going to go ahead and hit the end for that poll. We got over 60 likes too, so we hit that mark as well. I want to thank everyone who actually hit that like button as well. And as you're heading out of the building, as it were, going to hit that like button if you enjoyed the show. Shout out to the Cook said y'all undefeated, and as we always do.
Oh my gosh! So you're
Yeah, Black community activist. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
well, good for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See your eyes shine, she's my soul, one. my sweet love supreme. Touch my nose, this love of sky is so raw. Make you goose, stepping out of control.
Yeah, Umar was watching this show today. He was watching this live stream. He was watching live. Let me show it to y'all real quick. Then we'll finish up with the Snow Buddy Love. Here you go. Let me do a quick screen share. This was from 29 minutes ago. Here's a screen share for you all. Cookie Crush chat. For those of y'all who stuck around, you get a special treat. There you go. This is what Umar posted. 29 minutes ago. Prince of Pan Africanism. I'm going to assume that that's his lazy ass as a lion lying in the blankets. White blankets, too, by the way. The Book of Negroes. Helped a few parents, worked on my book, blocked a few coons, scheduled a few consults, worked on a few speeches, planned some final touches to FDMG, chatted with a few queens, and so it's now time for bed. Yeah. Umar is watching this live stream. All right, we're going to stay on him. We're going to stay on him. All right. Good for that undefeated.
It's me against the light, snow bunny. Moving on the bar. Everything's all right. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's next to the law. With my snow bunny love. Been party by the night.
Don't
See
do
her
that.
eyes shine. She's my snow bunny please. In the winter light, so she's my sweet love supreme. Touch to my nose, this love of sky is so raw. Make you goose, stepping out of control. It's me against the light, snow bunny. Moving on the bar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Everything's all right. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's next to the law. With my snow bunny love. Been party by the night. See her eyes shine. She's my snow bunny please. In the winter light, so she's my sweet love supreme. Touch to my nose, this love of sky is so raw. Make you move, stepping out of control. It's me against the light, snow bunny. Moving on the bar. Everything's all right. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's next to the law. With my snow bunny love. Been party by the night. See her eyes shine. She's my snow bunny please. In the winter light, so she's my sweet love supreme. Touch to my nose, this love of sky is so raw. Make you goose, stepping out of control. It's me against the light, snow bunny. Moving on the bar. Everything's all right. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's next to the law. With my snow bunny love. Been party by the night. See her eyes shine. She's my snow bunny please. In the winter light, so she's my sweet love supreme.
Thank
Touch my
you.
nose, this love of sky is so raw. Make you goose, stepping out of control. It's me against the light, snow bunny. Moving on the bar. Everything's all right. Got that smooth soul feel. No, that's next to the law. With my snow bunny love.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning on in. And I apologize for missing your super chat earlier. But like I said, there are hot cookies, though, and warm salt. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you all for tuning on in. I hope you all enjoyed the live stream. We'll be back next week. Cookie Crush Chat is undefeated. Love y'all. Take care. Peace.